real. Let's review. What's the deal, okay? Watching footage going out of control. Buckle up, we got an hour to go. So let's go, that's straight heat. Ain't no chillin' around here. Back that back, Nat Chimps, how we feelin' around here? Got my whole squad in the building around here. If my name ain't on it, then I really don't care. Come on. 3-point stance, we advance. Ball in my hands, I don't take no chance. Touchdown dance, that's my jam. No hot takes, this is nothing but rants. Nothing but rants. Nothing but rants. Nothing but rants. On the beat, hey. Yeah.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Now, you're probably wondering, why is the show opening with a J. Will solo? Well, Brooks is going to be late to show tonight. Not sure when exactly he's going to be here, but at some point he will be here. Christian was supposed to be here tonight. I was waiting for his arrival here in the studio while I'm getting the show notes ready. Never showed up, and I was like, all right, well, let me text and ask him. He decided to stay home to watch, wait for it, the Las Vegas Raiders preseason game in the debut of Fernando Mendoza. So, it is just me for an unknown amount of time. So, we got a loaded show for you guys. Oh.
You jackass. I'm here, guys. Don't worry. It's me and Jay Will tonight. Brooks will be here later. I did not abandon the show to watch my sweet prince Fernando Mendoza make his Raiders debut. However, I do have an extra screen somewhere off screen potentially watching that game. Although it's currently the Bengals versus Lions, so I'm not very happy with my current provider.
So if you hear some disgruntled noises from Christian tonight, just know it's because he's watching the Raiders play football. But yes, it is just going to be me and Christian tonight for a little bit until Brooks gets here. As I mentioned, he will eventually be here. I think it's going to be probably closer to the local hour, so not sure how much of the national hour we're going to get from Brooks tonight, but he will eventually be here. Before we dive into the show, before we tell you what we're going to be talking tonight, make sure you're liking the video, make sure you're subscribing and doing all of those good things for us. But we do have a loaded show, Christian. You have a rant on the SEC and the Big Ten that has been pressing you for the last few days, I believe.
I do. I think it's something that I've thought about initially, but I've fully baked this take and I've fully crafted it, and I've had it handwritten here in front of me, so I'm ready to deliver it.
I can't wait to hear that. We're obviously going to be talking about the Jayden Daniels versus LSU news. There's a whole lot of takes on the internet around that. Some confusing information, I think, is being relayed about this. Is it actually about the number? Is it not? We'll discuss that, give our takes on that. We also are going to rank the top 10 must-see football games this season. We're going to give you some sleeper picks for the Heisman and the national title this year. We're also going to give you some college football, fantasy football superlatives. You know, that was made available across a majority of apps, I believe, now, where I know that fantasy football for college football has existed previously, but now I think it's much more available to those. So if you're drafting for your college football fantasy team this year, we're going to tell you who to draft, who not to draft, a sleeper pick, league winners, all that good stuff. We're going to give you all of those. And also we're going to talk about some comments between two quarterbacks on a very prominent rivalry game. So there you go. Loaded show. But I think we have to start with this rant of yours, Christian. I don't want to make you sit there and continue to get all worked up about this. I think you just need to go ahead, get it off your chest, big bro.
Let's do it. All right. Let me first say, for those who might not be familiar with this show, familiar with me, familiar with Jay Will, yes, I am a Georgia Bulldogs fan. I want to make it exponentially clear. I have absolutely no allegiance to the SEC. I do not pound the table for the SEC. I do not say that the SEC needs to be the best conference. I do not try to make excuses for the SEC. I don't care about strength of conference. I don't care about any of that. If it's an SEC team playing in the national championship that's not Georgia, I don't care if they win. I have to make that clear because the next points I'm about to make are probably going to seem like I'm carrying water for the SEC. The second thing I need to make clear before this rant is, yes, the Big Ten absolutely gets to claim right now that they are the best conference. You win the last 3 national championships in a row, you get to claim it. The SEC has not played in or competed for a national championship. There is almost no denying at this point that the Big Ten is the supreme conference. But I'm not exactly sure that I'm buying this notion that the reason the Big Ten is so dominant or they're where they are is because they just have more money, because they can just spend more, they can just buy more players. Sure, more money does equal more talent, and that usually equates to more wins, but I don't think that's why we're where we are right now. I also don't think that the Big Ten has just been worlds ahead of the SEC in talent. Sure, the first round was more littered with Big Ten players than it has been in a long time. I don't think that's why. Let's take a look at the last 3 national championship winners. The 2025 Indiana Hoosiers. Best team in college football. 16-0. There's no debating that is one of the best teams. No one was going to stop them. That's fine. I don't think anyone was out here saying that Indiana was one of the most talented rosters in college football last year. Not to say they weren't talented, but I think it was another thing that made them so good. 2024, Ohio State. National championship winner, went through an incredible run, the 12-team playoff. Sure, best team in college football. It's not like the SEC didn't have adequate teams, though. I think we all forget a time where Ohio State was almost deadlocked with Texas. A goal line stand 7 yards away was Texas from tying that game up. It just so happened that a scoop and score happened. Ohio State wins by 14. In fact, if you look back at that game, the 14-point difference in that game was a blown coverage on a screen at the end of the half and a scoop and score. I don't think there was ever a moment where we walked out and said, you know what? Ohio State just had the more talented players. Ohio State won in the margins. Ohio State dominated when they needed to, and that's why they won the national title that year. 2023 Michigan, the 3rd team on this list of the trio of national championships. Yeah, Michigan went 15-0, absolutely incredible team, beat an SEC team on the way to do it. But they went to overtime with that SEC team. It's not like they outmatched Alabama. It's not like they were a better team talent-wise. It's not like talent just won over and that's why they won the national championship. And by the way, it's also worth adding that there's a lot of people out there that believe had the Georgia Bulldogs made it to the college football playoff, there's a great chance they win the national title that year. That's not to say that Michigan's wasn't legit. That's just to point out that the SEC has had national championship talented rosters in their time and in this 3-year dominance run. So it's not like the SEC hasn't had championship caliber rosters. The Big Ten is just one more in the margins. And I don't think winning in the margins comes to talent. Sure, it can in certain moments, but I think it more equates to coaching. And the SEC's reign of terror perfectly exemplifies this. From 2006 to 2022, the SEC won 13 out of 17 national titles. That is dominance. That is not 3 in a row. That is absolute dominance. That's almost 85%. And sure, you can say it's because the SEC had better players or they were paying them at a time when they were cheating and all that. We've heard all those arguments. But let's look at who was actually doing the winning for those national titles. Nick Saban won 6 of the titles. Kirby Smart won 2. Urban Meyer won 2. That's 10 of 13 right there. The other 3 were Les Miles, who was a great coach at the time when he won 1. Ed Orgeron caught lightning in a bottle with the 2019 roster. And Gene Chizik bought Cam Newton. So it's not like the talent was just so much exponentially better for reasons. There were examples of that, sure. But I think that's more lightning in a bottle than just the SEC was flat out better. The coaching is why the SEC had that dominant run. The talent absolutely plays a factor. There's no denying that, but coaching is what's always made the difference for me. Now let's do the same and check in on the last 5 years of SEC coaching. Nick Saban's retired. LSU has absolutely whiffed on a hire. Auburn has whiffed on 2 hires. Florida hasn't gotten it right in 15 years. They've missed on the last 4 hires. And you can even throw A&M or Tennessee into this mix. Even though they weren't part of that dominant era, they're nationally relevant teams that have not necessarily hit on hires as of late or stumbled along the way. Jimbo Fisher was a disaster for Texas A&M. Jeremy Pruitt was not great for Tennessee. The Derek Dooley era. Do we need to remind that for Tennessee fans? So if you need any further evidence that it's not money or talent, look at recruiting. According to the On3, the SEC had 5 top 10 classes in 2026, 7 top 10 classes in 2025, 7 top 10 classes in 2024. And yes, that's more than any other conference. So the idea that the Big Ten's just going out and buying all the talent and that's why they're winning games doesn't necessarily equate to the recruiting statistics. It's not money or talent that's keeping the SEC from competing for titles. It's coaching. And if the last 23 years of history are any proof, hiring the right coach is something that's really, really hard to do. There's plenty of prominent programs that have been absolutely torn apart because they just can't get the right coaching hire in. So to conclude this long and very winded rant, yes, The Big Ten is the premier conference in college football right now. They've got the wins, they've got the championships to prove it. But the Big Ten is not where they are because of TV deals or rich boosters or anything like that. They have better coaches right now. That's just what it is. And at the end of the day, coaching is what helps you win in the margins where the Big Ten has been winning. End of rant.
Now, first thought, I'd love the take. I'm absolutely here for anybody saying that coaching still matters, that great coaching is still the difference maker in this sport. Because I do think that when people talk about all you have to do is buy players now, and not saying that's what Brooks was doing the other night, that's not at all what I'm saying, but I'm saying that there are takes out there now that it is just about buying players. It's all about how much money you have. I think that diminishes people like Curt Cignetti and the job that they did to bring the Indiana Hoosiers their first national title, and when they go 16-0, I think that diminishes the job that Ryan Day did during the college football playoff 2 years ago with a quarterback in Will Howard, who everybody wrote off, and a team that everybody wrote off prior to the playoff. I think it diminishes things like that. So I'm absolutely here for you still throwing flowers towards coaches and saying, like, this is still what matters. And I would absolutely agree with you on that. I think great coaches are still what makes a difference because, I mean, we see it all the time in professional sports. Like, you can go out there and buy all the great players that you want, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee you anything in either sport, in any of the major sports that you watch. It still matters about who is actually looking over the roster, who's making the major decisions, who's actually developing these players and putting them in the best spots to make them the most successful players that they can on the field. With that said, it is a little ironic that we did this when Brooks is not here to defend his points.
Oh, yeah, that was not me trying to undermine what Brooks said. I think it just so happened to be that. I think absolutely money certainly plays a factor into this. I don't think it's why the Big Ten has won all the national titles they've won. I think the winning in the margins has absolutely been because of the coaching that the Big Ten has.
Yeah, and I think Brooks was more so saying, like, this is one of the many reasons why the Big Ten right now has an edge over the SEC and why they have won the last 3 national titles. And to some degree, I would agree with that. I think it's certainly helping them sustain their success that they currently have over the sport. But I also don't think that it's just... I don't think it's like this massive gap all of a sudden. Like, I don't think it's that the Big Ten is just supremely better than the SEC right now. I think it's the Big Ten has made some great coaching hires, or they've already had some great coaches. Like Jim Harbaugh and Ryan Day were already in the conference. Those were already really good coaches. Curt Cignetti is one of the best hires we've ever seen in college football.
Exactly.
And the Indiana Hoosiers are certainly benefiting from that. Nick Saban, one of the greatest coaches of all time in college football. Kirby Smart, one of the best to ever do it, certainly. There's just been great coaches, and those great coaches typically lead to a lot of success at programs and oftentimes national titles. So I absolutely love the rant, love the take.
Thank you, sir.
I'm always here for crediting coaches where it's due.
Thank you. What do we have next on our show?
Well, I don't think we should necessarily bury the lead here. This is what everybody wants to talk about today. It's all over social media. People are making jokes about it. I'm one of those people as well tonight. Jayden Daniels and LSU. This hit the news cycle, I believe, late last night, maybe an hour after the show. I get the ESPN notification on my phone. I send it to you guys. I'm like, what the heck is going on here?
It makes no sense to me still, and I'm kind of scared to talk about it because I don't really understand what's going on.
So, if you aren't aware what is going on right now, Jayden Daniels and his team, that's what I would call it, more so his team, I would say. Jayden Daniels' team sent a cease and desist letter to the LSU Tigers saying that they are no longer allowed to use his NIL anymore. They can't use his name, his image, and likeness. They cannot benefit off of that. They have to stop immediately. But the most interesting thing, and what people have the biggest gripe with in all of this is, apparently, a lot of it stems from DJ Pickett now wearing number 5. And if you're not familiar with this situation, Jayden Daniels wore number 5 during his time at LSU, ended up winning a Heisman Trophy. And I guess it's a thing at LSU where if you win a Heisman Trophy there, nobody wears your number after that. It's been the case for 3 different players there. And I think Jayden Daniels was under the assumption that would be the case for him. And then the story comes out about DJ Pickett now wearing number 5 because that was promised to him during his recruitment to go to LSU. So I'm going to read you some quotes from the ESPN article that broke this, because the interesting part about all of this is ESPN talks about how the number 5 is a major player in all of this. But if you read the actual letter from Jayden Daniels' team, it doesn't mention the number 5 at all in his message. It just talks about can't use his name, image, and likeness. Basically, you can't sell my jersey anymore, because they were still selling his jersey. But one of these quotes reads, The Daniels family is deeply disappointed and feels profoundly disrespected by LSU's decision to give Jayden's number to another player, the statement from Daniels' spokesperson said. Jayden and his family had every reason to believe that his number would remain a meaningful part of his LSU legacy and would be honored and protected in recognition of his extraordinary contributions to the university. So, I think a lot of people obviously have an issue with, one, why are you comparing yourself to a guy like Joe Burrow? Joe Burrow also won a Heisman at LSU, had one of the greatest seasons in college football history. He also has a national title, something that Jayden did not achieve during his time at LSU. You can chalk that up to he didn't have as much talent on the roster, this and the whatever. Joe Burrow had a much more significant and impactful season at LSU than Jayden Daniels is. So there's a whole lot of issues with this. My take on it personally is I tend to side with everybody saying, like, I understand that things were, like, first off, if it is true that LSU does not allow players to wear the same number as someone that has won a Heisman there, I understand why Jayden Daniels would be disgruntled by this. But I would also say, I don't know why we as a player would feel privileged to our jersey never ever being touched again when, yes, we won a Heisman, but dude, it probably doesn't live up to some of the other names that are in this realm of legacy.
Yeah, now I do think it's also worth noting that Jayden Daniels has publicly responded to this. He put something on his Instagram story that was just basically this quote: "I've been locked into training camp, and that's been the number one focus. I have a lot of gratitude for my time at LSU, and I'm proud of what my teammates and I accomplished there. Obviously, there are issues to be worked out between me, my team, and LSU, and my hope is that we will get it done privately. My sole personal focus is on the Commanders' football. I realize the business of football is unique, and I trust this can be resolved." So, I mean, it seems like he's coming at it from a pretty level-headed, and honestly, it seems like this was more of a decision from his representation.
Yes, this is what I was going to say. This is so, like, reading that and then also reading this other quote from ESPN. It says, "Jayden made it clear that he did not want his number given to another player, and he believed his wishes would be respected," the statement said. "His Heisman Trophy winning season and everything he accomplished on and off the field cemented his place in LSU history. To see his number given to another player is incredibly disappointing and feels like a failure to honor the significance of what Jayden accomplished at LSU." So reading what Jayden Daniels posted on social media about this message of, this isn't a concern of mine, I'm all focused on winning a Super Bowl this year with the Washington Commanders and being the best player that I can for them, it does kind of reach me. And again, knowing the history that his mom has played in some of these things of, I don't know that this is Jayden Daniels making this fight. I don't know that this is something that he is putting on his own shoulders and is creating this ruckus between his former program and now as a professional athlete. I do think it's more so his team, again, getting together and being like, you know what, we're going to do something about this. This is not acceptable. We're going to make sure that this program pays for what they're doing for our athlete that we represent and who we love. And Jayden's probably just kind of caught in the middle of it, like, well, like, I don't know what to do here because this isn't necessarily something I care about, but obviously I care about the people that represent me. It seems like a really messy situation, and he just kind of got caught in the middle of it.
This is probably way so far out of relevance, but does this get anywhere where people start going like, what is Lane Kiffin doing?
Well, so Brooks makes a good point in chat right now. He says, craziest thing is Brian Kelly was the one who promised a number to a recruit the year after he left. Talk about screwing over a former player. So I'm sure for Lane, it was one of those situations where he obviously had nothing to do with it. The guy got there 8 months ago or 10 months ago, however long it's been. And DJ Pickett probably was like, hey, coach, by the way, I was promised to get to wear number 5 when I got here. Can I have number 5 now? And he's like, sure, dude. Yeah, absolutely. Like, we'll respect that. And then Lane gets this message from Jayden Daniels' team, was like, what the heck? Like, well, where is this coming from? So I'm sure that he probably had no idea about any of this.
So this is a really bad look for Brian Kelly.
It's always Brian Kelly's fault.
Brian Kelly, who has a track record of maybe not doing the right by his former players and or members of staff. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, no, I think this is one of those, just one of the what the hell type stories that in the off season, I would get this coming out while training camp's going on, while we've got preseason games being played, while we're, 19 days from college football returning officially. Like, kind of a wild story to hear in the middle of August.
Yeah, and Lane even gave a quote on this. He says, "I'm not going to judge something that was done when I wasn't here, but when a kid is promised something to come to a school, he should wear it. So at that point, I don't think that's really my decision. We should honor what he was told." So Lane's kind of like, hey, my hands are clean, buddy. Like, this kid was promised something. I didn't make the promise, but I'm going to honor that promise. As my head coach, I feel like that's my duty. So he's kind of like, whoa. Don't have smoke with me here. This ain't my fault.
I also think it's hilarious, and it's such a dichotomy of current recruiting where it's like you have to promise so much. Like, the number 5 is your... Like, Matt Leinart had a rant about this earlier in the offseason. Like, hell no, you're not taking mine. So, little ironic.
I do want to get into this discussion, though, about the privilege that, whether this is Jayden's idea or not, and again, I said already that I don't think this is Jayden's idea, but the idea that Jayden Daniels, which again, he had a great season for LSU. It's why he won the Heisman. He led them to an SEC title game, which they ultimately did not win. The Georgia Bulldogs handled them in that game.
Those are 2 different seasons, though.
Oh, you're right. That's the year after. Absolutely correct. So, like, I understand all of that, but at the same time, like, we have some legendary football players to come across college football. Like, Tim Tebow's name is getting thrown around right now, and it's like, we let Graham Mertz wear number 15, buddy. I think we can let DJ Pickett rock number 5 this season, dude. Like, I think it's going to be okay. Like, there have been some legendary players in college football to honor a number, do historic things with that number, and it never be retired, and other players get to wear it. And we kind of get in this conversation all the time of, like, college football is one of these unique situations, too, where it's really hard to retire jersey numbers because you have so many kids on a roster that you can't just not use a bunch of them because you got to make sure that everybody has a number that they can wear on the field. Mm-hmm. So, like, it really takes some special situations to never let anybody wear a jersey number ever again. We'll get into this discussion later on in another hour, but I just think it's one of those things of like, dude, you had your limelight at LSU. You had a great career. You're doing some good things in the NFL. Like, I think you're well represented and well liked by this program. Yeah, there was no need to tarnish that.
Your time in Baton Rouge will live on forever, even if they don't wear your number. Which, by the way, do you want to sit in his chair?
Do I?
Do you? I mean,
nah. I kind of like this.
Okay.
I kind of like the vibe we have right
sitting
now.
Close to me.
Well, and I don't want to have to get up in the right now and everything.
Okay.
You know, I got my stuff right here.
That's fine.
Don't want to move a bunch of stuff.
No worries. Do we want to talk about, since we've got some quarterbacks that are necessarily putting themselves in interesting situations, the contrast in quotes from Julian Sayin and Bryce Underwood? This is a fairly old thing. We probably should have gotten to it yesterday,
like
but
a few days old, I want to say.
The shows are just too loaded nowadays, but there are some stark differences in the comments from the Ohio State and the Michigan quarterbacks about what they think of the game, and it's kind of creating a tizzy online. So both quarterbacks were asked about at SEC or Big Ten Media Days, I'm sure, and Bryce Underwood gave a quote of, "It's just another game, just guys with a different color. That's how I see it," which is very, undermining the sacredness of that rivalry. Whereas Julian Sayin, a guy who transferred from Alabama, started in his first game last year, said the matchup becomes your livelihood. Like, you never want to lose to it. So, like, two guys are on opposite ends of the spectrum. Who would you say you agree with?
Oh, I 100% agree with Julian Sayin. As a college football fan, from the perspective, and look, this is the real thing here. So, whether or not Julian Sayin actually believes that, whether or not the Michigan versus Ohio State, whether the game is taking up that much rent, I guess you want to say, in his head, like it means that much, whether or not that's true, that's what he's supposed to say. As the starting quarterback at Ohio State, that game does mean something to you, or at least it should, or you should at least give off the perception that it does mean a lot to you, because to the fans, it means everything. I mean, this rivalry means absolutely everything to these two fan bases. Rule number one between those two programs is you better beat the other team. Like that. Yep. That's what matters. Before you do anything else, we have to make sure that we handle business at the end of the season when those two teams match up. So I get it. Like, maybe Bryce Underwood is just trying to match the energy that Kyle Whittingham gave I believe it was during Big Ten Media Days, where he was like, I don't think hatred is a requirement for a great rivalry. I don't think that's necessary or needed. I think it's just all about like two great programs matching up against one another with a long line of history, something along the lines of that. That's not exactly what he said. So maybe he's just trying to match the energy there of like, hey, this is how my head coach thinks. I'm going to say something similar. But when it comes to getting buy-in from your fan base, and when you want to talk about being one of the greatest to ever come out of Michigan's program, which is something that Bryce Underwood has said, that he's going to be the greatest to ever come out of here, that plays a role in this, in my opinion. You hating Ohio State and you showing that to your fan base and showing how much that game means to you, that certainly plays a big role in that.
Let me ask you this hypothetical. Obviously, it has not been a great offseason for the PR team of Bryce Underwood. There's a lot of questions around his play on the field. He's said and done some things off the field that have kind of made you go, what in the world are you thinking? Do you think someone has gotten in his ear and been like, hey, dude, whatever you say, like, play down everything, don't say too much, and that's kind of why you got this answer. Just like, yeah, it's another game for us. We just treat it like everything else. Like, is that what's happening here?
I mean, maybe. Like, I understand that. Like, you don't want to add fuel to the fire by any means. You don't want to give a quote that's slapped in the Ohio State locker room from now until that game is played and just gives them an extra oomph in that game. Not that that game needs any of that. I mean, again, it's one of the greatest rivalries, maybe the greatest rivalry in all of college football. But, I mean, again, like, you don't even have to say anything that could be taken out of context and could be made into bulletin board material. It could be as simple as, hey, like, our fans care about this game. It's a big deal to them. So therefore, like, it's a major deal to me. And so if they don't like that team, I don't like them either. And I'm going to do the best of my abilities to make sure that we come out on top in that matchup this year. Like, something along the lines of that. But I mean, I don't know. I think it's more simple than that.
I would probably tend to agree with that. Either way, it was definitely something interesting that's worth talking about.
Considering some of the offseason things that have happened with Bryce Underwood, some of the quotes that he's given, and some of the actual things that he has done this offseason, I don't blame him one bit for trying to maybe stay out of the news cycle a little bit and not add his name in the headlines. And maybe the coaching staff was like, hey, buddy, let's just tone it down. We'll stay on the down low for a little bit. You'll get your time in the spotlight, but right now we just need you to be 0 dark 30, focus on this season.
And I wouldn't ask that question had he not had the offseason he had. So I figured that might just be something's happening here where it's like, listen, you have said a lot of, like, someone might need to be having this conversation with Steve Sarkisian. Where it's like, dude, whatever you're, just play everything down. Just be coach speak. Just be Mr. PC right now, because we don't need any more headlines. We don't need any more heat around the things you're saying. So I don't know if it was that. Maybe not. Maybe. I don't know. Where'd you want to go next on this? Do we want to do our top 10 CFP games this season? Because
sure,
Brooks probably won't be here. So
yes. I guess I need to go get the lav mic on.
You going to go to the board, dude?
I got to go to the board. We got the board ready, baby. So give me a minute.
All right. I'll give you a minute. In the meantime, I will freestyle. As J. Will walks in front of the camera, we have decided to rank the top 10 must-see games in college football this year. They're not games that necessarily would say are close or we think are going to be high quality. Obviously, that would be indications of must-see games, but we are talking about moments where it's like, man, I wish I was at that game as a college football fan. Most of the times, it is a high-profile matchup, but there are some indications where it's just, I just really want to be there and in that environment. So as Jay Will walks in front of the screen right now, I will switch this cameras over to where Jay Will can slide the board in front.
Okay. Here we go.
Which, by the way, not bad handwriting, dude.
Thank you. You know, Chet's been cooking us, too, for our handwriting.
Hang on. I come stand in camera because you're a little bit taller than Brooks, so I'm going to have to...
There we go.
There we
Get it
go.
right. But I was trying to make sure we didn't cut off any of the teams, but
we're
sorry, guys.
Unless you do this on your knees,
we're kind of working off the cuff right now. We didn't get these frames just right before show, but yeah, chat's been coming for me and you too about our handwriting on our whiteboard. I don't think it's that bad, guys. I think it's pretty legible. I think you can read it, but I digress. That doesn't matter. I'm sure I'm going to get cooked for how I write these teams anyways. So we have our candidates. We have Ohio State at Texas, LSU at Ole Miss, Miami at Notre Dame, Oklahoma at Georgia, Oklahoma versus Texas, Michigan at Ohio State, Clemson at LSU, Ohio State at Indiana, Georgia versus at Ole Miss, Oregon at Ohio State, Georgia at Alabama, Houston at Texas Tech, LSU at Tennessee, and Texas at A&M. That is the list that we have. You'll probably notice there's a lot of Ohio State on here, quite a bit of Georgia as well. Obviously, like, Ohio State has a tough schedule. That's really what I'm trying to say right now. So I think maybe the best way to start this off, Christian, is maybe start with eliminating ones that we don't think belong on the top 10. I think we have 14 total candidates right now. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe it's 14 or 15.
So which game are you just going to go ahead and say, like, all right, probably not making the top 10?
Look, I think that there's potential that this will have major college football playoff implications, and I think it's very important. I think we kind of, even in the creating of this list of candidates, looked at and we're like, you know what? I think Texas Tech and Houston could be a good football game, but I'm not necessarily buying that it's going to be must-see television. So I think that is off the list.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those of, guys, we needed a Big 12 game. this was the best one that we thought in our opinion. Could end up being a great football game, but when you're measuring it up against games that will have ultimate impact and the build up to these football games, I don't think that Houston at Texas Tech is going to quite live up to the hype that some of these other games will. So I agree. That's a good first one to eliminate. What's another one you want to eliminate? I think I might want to go here. I think LSU at Tennessee, because I get it. It's Lane Kiffin's return to Neyland Stadium, but we've seen this one before. We've already seen Lane Kiffin go back to Tennessee. He got crap thrown at him. Now, I know that he's with LSU now. He's not at Ole Miss, but we've kind of seen this one before. Don't really know what Tennessee's going to look like. Don't really know exactly what LSU is going to look like. This one might be one that I'd say probably isn't quite in the top 10. Like maybe right on the outside, but maybe not quite in the top 10.
I agree with you. Can I throw a wild card out here a little bit?
Sure.
It's one of the best rivalries in college
That's the
football.
wrong one.
Excuse me, I did the wrong angle. It's one of the best rivalries in college football. It's going to be a great atmosphere. It's going to be great. I don't think this game is going to live up to anything that it's been the last 5 years. I think Michigan-Ohio State is maybe not a must-see game this year. It's a great rivalry game. It's a fantastic matchup. I'll be watching it. I don't know if I would say, man, I got to go to that game this year.
So let me pitch it this way. Ohio State goes in this game with 2 losses. Michigan's, 7-4.
Okay, all right.
Like-
it stays for now. I think eliminating.
If that's the situation, and that's a very plausible
It is.
situation
You're
for
right.
Ohio State to
They
be
have
in
a
of
hard
going
schedule.
into the game as a potential elimination game for themselves. Over there watching Fernando Mendoza. I can already see it. So
here.
I'm going to go ahead and eliminate LSU at Tennessee. Not to be that guy of sorry, I rule this segment by any means, but I do think that's one that maybe isn't quite the caliber of some of these other ones.
Bro gets to go up to the lav mic and be on the board, and all of a sudden he holds all the power.
So I'd say we hold. I'm kind of with you, though, on Michigan at Ohio State. It would take a certain scenario. It would take that exact scenario that I just gave you where that one probably is a top 10 must-see matchup this season. For this year specifically. It's a great game. Everybody watches it. Everybody looks forward to it. But considering where these two teams are at right now, I say that, though, but Michigan, some people think Michigan is a playoff team. I don't necessarily believe it, so I'm cool with also eliminating that one. Now we need one more. And then we can get into our top 10.
I know it's the biggest game of the week in week one, and it's one that our boss is going to be going to.
Our boss.
The CEO is going to be heading to. I don't think Clemson LSU is particularly going to be a good football game.
Yeah.
It's an exciting atmosphere, and if you've never been to Death Valley, which none of us have, it's a very exciting atmosphere. I'm not sold that that's going to be something where I'm on the edge of my seat by halftime.
The take on this game is more people are going to be watching Clemson at LSU because it's Lane Kiffin's debut at LSU more than people who are watching that because they think it's going to be a great football game.
And does that do enough to make it a must-see game? It is Lane Kiffin's first appearance as the LSU head coach.
But
does that do enough?
I don't think so. While it is Lane Kiffin's debut at LSU, we know what to expect from Lane Kiffin. We've seen enough of him as a head coach in his offenses that, it's going to be one of the best games of week one, maybe the best game that we have week one. But again, I don't think that when you measure it up against some of these other matchups that it belongs on this top 10. So we've narrowed it down to 10 games. Now we just got to put them in order.
I think number one's the easiest. I think we can. I think let's not even bury the lead here. We know what's going to end up at number one.
You think it's Ohio State at Texas?
No, LSU at Ole Miss. The return of Lane. There are going to be no shorter than 150 security guards on that sideline at all times. There will be things thrown, slurs said towards Lane Kiffin. And that's crazy of me to say. It's going to happen, guys. We all know it is. It's going to be one of the most hostile environments I think we've ever seen in college football. I am very excited to see it. That is must see.
All right. Facts. I completely agree with you. Does that mean that that's number 2, though? Ohio State at Texas?
So it's certainly top 3.
These are two teams that people would easily say could are national title contenders. Could both very plausible could win the national title this year.
Let me and maybe last year is kind of giving me PTSD from it. I feel like it happens so early in the season, and maybe this doesn't change the fact that it's must-see TV at the time. I feel like it happens so early in the season that it feels less consequential.
Okay.
Like even when Texas lost to Ohio State last year and Arch Manning looked horrible, the outlook on it was still, hey, it's a week 1 game. Things can happen. They can bounce back. Arch just had his first start of 2025. Give him some slack. Notre Dame Miami happens at a very pivotal time. It happens in late October.
This is the one I was going to say.
Or excuse me, late September. Yeah. The college football season's already gotten underway. It's between two teams that don't play a lot. I know Ohio State and Texas don't play a lot either, but it's between two teams that really can't afford a loss. Like Ohio State and Texas, we both agree, like if either of those teams go 9-3, they'll have a great argument. I feel like the stakes are going to be so much higher for Notre Dame Miami.
I completely agree with you. The more I thought about it, I was like this is the game that people are going to watch to make their opinion and inform their opinions on these two teams, because quite frankly, it's really the biggest test that we have for both of these teams. So to make a decision on whether or not we think Notre Dame could win a national title this year, whether or not we think Miami is capable of winning a national title this year, those opinions are going to basically stem from this game alone, and whoever wins that game and whoever loses that game, the implications of this football game are probably the biggest of any of these matchups. So I completely agree. I think that's a solid number 2 right there.
With that said, I think Ohio State, Texas is fine.
We'll slide that one in at number 3.
2 national championship contenders, 2 programs that are premier teams. It's a non-conference matchup, which at that point alone, like that's a rarity in of itself. That's a massive game. I just put Miami and Notre Dame just a little bit ahead of it.
All right. Now I think this is kind of where the discussion gets a little tough, and you're kind of splitting hairs probably when you rank these matchups. Considering what this matchup has meant in the past and how great these football games have been outside of the SEC championship game last year,
I know.
This one right here, Georgia at Alabama, that one typically always delivers. I mean, it is always it's one of the best games that you could watch. It seems like every single time these two teams go toe-to-toe with one another. Considering that, I kind of want to put it at number 4, but it also feels kind of high.
It does feel high. I think the question I have is, though, is like, what else would you put ahead of that? Like the non-conference matchups outside of that, there's nothing really that grabs you.
So my mind immediately goes to Oregon at Ohio State, because we just got done talking about for Miami and Notre Dame. That's the biggest test for those two teams by far this year. We've seen Oregon's schedule. It is this one. It is Oregon at Ohio State. Like, that is the biggest matchup for themselves.
Certainly.
So I feel like that might be a more appropriate number 4 game, because that is like the must-see game for Oregon this year is against Ohio State in the regular season.
Maybe it's just because I'm a Georgia fan. I feel like UGA Bama goes number 4.
Okay.
And if you want to call me a homer, fine. Hey. I think the margins are so thin. UGA Bama goes 4. Oregon, Ohio State is number 5. And I think it's honestly a 4A and a 4B type situation here. They're both very similar matchups. I think the reason why I'm going UGA Bama is because we've got a decades worth of history. There is still the narrative of, can Kirby Smart get the Alabama monkey off his back? I know he beat him in the SEC championship last year. It's been 19 years since Georgia has beaten Alabama in Tuscaloosa. There's a lot more going on than, hey, Oregon and Ohio State are 2 really good teams in the Big Ten. I think from a historical standpoint, UGA Bama is just a little bit bigger.
All right. So there you have it. Georgia at Alabama, number 4. Oregon at Ohio State, number 5. Next one, it's a lot of similar teams. Like Oklahoma's on here twice, Georgia's on here twice. I don't know.
How big is Ohio State and Indiana going to be? Because here's the thing. Ohio State's going to be a fantastic brand. Indiana is the returning national champion. Is Indiana going to have momentum this year?
Yeah. And
I feel like even last year, it wasn't really until they beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship that people were like, okay, Indiana is actually 1,000% legit. Like the country was not bought into the Indiana Hoosiers until they won the Big Ten. It was, yeah, they've just had an easy schedule again. They've been easy schedule merchants. They got to play all the bad teams in the Big Ten. Of course, they've been beating up on them. And then it was, oh my God, Is that going to be the case for Indiana this year? Probably not, because they just won a national title. I wonder how much juice is going to be behind that Ohio State and Indiana game.
So I kind of want to lean the Red River rivalry here, because this is a massive year for Oklahoma and Brent Venables. This is also a massive year for Steve Sarkisian and the Texas Longhorns. Like, the stakes might never be higher than it will be right now in this year's matchup, considering what the expectations are at Texas and how we've discussed it. It kind of feels like a bit of a window year for Oklahoma. This is your last year with John Mateer.
It's a window year for both teams, yeah.
I kind of want to I know that Texas has absolutely kind of dominated this matchup over the past couple of years, but I kind of want to put that one here.
And there's a really good chance that both of these teams are heading into this matchup with one loss.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point.
You do not want to have another loss come. When is that, an October game? That's the third Saturday in October as well, correct? Or is there not always a set date for that?
I'm not sure.
I apologize for my lack of Red River knowledge.
I'm sure Bandit will give us some info there on that one.
Bandit, please, the ambassador of Texas football, please help us.
Our ambassador of Texas
Yes,
football.
our ambassador of Texas football, please help us, Bandit. Is there a set date that those two teams usually play?
Okay, so now do we go Ohio State at Indiana, or do we go back-to-back Oklahoma? Because this Oklahoma-Georgia game, I mean, that's, again, it's kind of in the similar stratosphere for Georgia a little bit.
I think we marked off too many teams. No, we didn't.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Sorry, I did not mean to interrupt you.
We got four games left?
Correct. I did not mean to interrupt you.
Yeah. So I'm either going Oklahoma at Georgia here, or I think we got to slide in Ohio State at Indiana.
I think Oklahoma at Georgia here is the play because of this. It's two teams that have played once in history.
That's true.
One game, it's one of the greatest college football playoff games of all time. It's two programs that have a lot to lose this season. It's going to be a rare matchup. I know they're in the same conference. I know it's technically a conference matchup. I think a loss for Oklahoma or Georgia is going to be more catastrophic than Indiana or Ohio State losing to one another. That said, I think it's, again, splitting hairs. Which, by the way, Jay, your handwriting is very good.
Oh, thank you.
It's very legible.
I was wondering if you were showing them having to get on my knees to write that out, but all right. So there you go. I went ahead and put in Ohio State at Indiana for the next one, since we decided that Oklahoma at Georgia was at number 7. So that leaves us with two other games: Georgia at Ole Miss or Texas at Texas A&M. This one, Georgia at Ole Miss feels like a good number 10 to me, because we saw it twice last year.
Yeah.
And now we're going to see it again this year. Like, this will be the fourth time we've seen these two teams play in the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly kind of a fatigue
it's getting redundant
taking place.
So
I also think Texas A&M and Texas has the potential to be a win-or-go-home scenario for both of those teams.
That's a good point.
It wasn't as much last year. It was certainly for Texas, but Texas was already 8-3 at that point. It was kind of like they might not even be in. Texas A&M was already a college football playoff team, but it was like, hey, are you going to the SEC championship or not? There's a real scenario where you get to Kyle Field, a place that has not seen them beat Texas in decades. I think Texas A&M Texas is more must-see TV.
I don't want to have to do this again, but I'm just going to write like this. You were able to do the fancy at. I'm not, so I'm just going to write it
just
that way.
do the sideways fish and then put a circle.
Yeah,
in.
I know. You explained it to me.
You can do it.
Before show.
I believe
I'm
in
just
you.
not going to try and expose myself right now. So I'm going to do it that way. And there is our top 10 must-see football games this year. We have LSU at Ole Miss, number 1. Miami at Notre Dame, number 2. Ohio State at Texas, number 3. Georgia at Alabama, number 4. Oregon at Ohio State, number 5. Oklahoma at Texas, number 6. Oklahoma at Georgia, number 7. Ohio State at Indiana, number 8. Texas at A&M, number 9. And rounding it off, Georgia at Ole Miss.
I think that's a solid list. I don't know if there's anything we missed there. Chat might correct us. They haven't done so yet, so I don't think we've missed any egregious games, but I like that list. It was kind of a tough one to make.
Absolutely.
Dude, you're in the shot.
I know. I had to be in the shot.
Are you sitting back down here or are you going to Boss
No.
Man's desk?
Boss Man should be back soon,
All right.
so no need to do that.
I'll go back here.
Get back in my seat where my laptop is and my water, because I need some of that right now.
I think, hey, see? You made fun of me last night for having to talk a lot and then being cotton mouth. How does it feel now? You didn't have your water bottle by you the entire time.
It feels great because my pink water bottle just quenched my thirst.
I have nothing to say about the pink water bottle. It's a vessel to hold water. I don't care.
Keeps it cold.
I'm just saying, you gave me a lot of guff last night for, you got to drink your water. I was going 36 minutes straight talking about the dogs.
How did chat like the segment? Were they kind of agreeing with us, or? I
think chat somewhat liked it. Bowden's flip phone was not happy about us putting LSU Ole Miss at the top, like claiming SEC bias. Again, Bowden, I do not care about the SEC. I just want to see good football.
Yeah, look, I mean, based on everything, like the build-up alone to that game, everybody's going to be watching that one because they just want to see how crazy it gets. Like that could end up being the craziest football game of the entire season. Like, no matter what the implications are for that football game between those two programs, it's the return of Lane Kiffin to Ole Miss at Ole Miss. Like, it may not get better than that this season as far as an entertainment perspective.
It could be the craziest team game of all time. Like, I'm not even joking when I say that. All right, we've got about 15 minutes left. Would you like to hit this fantasy football superlatives, or would you like to talk about sleeper, Heisman, and natty picks?
Let's go ahead and rip these fantasy superlatives. I like this segment a lot.
I'll let you steer this one because you've come up with the superlatives for that. So, Jay will take it away.
All right. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, if you weren't here for that, I'll go ahead and explain it. Fantasy football is becoming a massive thing now this year, or is becoming a thing for college football. So, with that, I was caught off guard by what Brooks was saying in the chat. Not sure what's going on there. But anyways, considering how big of a thing that's going to be this year, we figured we would give you some players that we think maybe you do not draft, players that are a sleeper this year, players you should not overthink, breakout candidates, and league winners. So to start it off, for an example of a do not draft player, I have Justice Haynes. Now, the reason why is because I think if you look at Justice Haynes, the pedigree of the player, he's going to Georgia Tech, probably going to get a lot of usage there. Sounds like a great running back to have on your fantasy football team. Sounds like a great way to rack up some points, some easy yardage. But I look at it as Justice Haynes last year got injured with Michigan. There's already a whole bunch of miles on this guy. There was a whole bunch of miles on him before he got out to Alabama because how he was used in high school. Already some injury history. If they do lean heavy on him this year, he might end up missing a few football games. And if that's somebody that you're going to draft as your top running back, you might get burned there. So I'm going to put him on my do not draft list.
This one feels more obvious as a do not draft. So I put him kind of with a little bit of an exclamation point here. There's some people that still are buying it. Do not draft DJ Lagway. I know he's going to a new team. I know he's going to an easier conference. I know that Baylor might be a fit for him. I know that Dave Aranda says we've freed him from the straitjacket that was the University of Florida. Do not draft DJ Lagway. He will turn the ball over. And frankly, I don't think he will be very good this year.
I'm going to give you another quarterback that you should not draft because this one probably going to look super enticing when it's your turn on the draft board. Some quarterbacks are already off the board. This one's staring you right in the face. There's a whole lot of excitement around it. If you just think maybe if he can go back to that 2024 season, maybe this is going to be the difference maker for me. And he might do that this year, but there's too much risk involved. Lenore Sellers is on my do not draft list because he's already missed a few games over the past couple of years due to injury. This guy takes hits because he has to. Now, maybe the offensive line is better and we're able to prevent that, but also I have no idea how this South Carolina team is going to age throughout the year. I don't know what the state of that program is going to look like at the end of the year when games matter most, when you're trying to make that final playoff push in your fantasy league. I personally would stay away from Lenore Sellers because there's too much up in the air about it that you cannot determine.
I'm going to give you one other do not draft player that I think is very important because I've seen a lot of buzz create around them this year. I am not drafting Ryan Coleman Williams in early rounds. If he's available late, sure, go get him. But I think Latsier Brooks, I think Derek Meadows, I think guys like, we don't know who his quarterback's going to be. There's a lot being built up around how Ryan Coleman Williams is getting back to where he was in 2024. I'm saying don't draft that. If you miss out on it, so be it. There's better wide receivers to take, in my opinion.
All right, what about sleeper pick? You should know who my sleeper pick is. In fact, maybe it's not even a sleeper pick. Maybe I just have that much pull when it comes to this guy's name. I hope it's just everybody's thinking about this player 24/7. It's Nick Minicucci. If you don't know who it is, you either don't watch the show or you don't know ball.
All right.
Which is it?
Here's the sleeper pick. And honestly, this might even be more of a waiver wire pickup. Ahmad Hardy.
This is your sleeper pick?
Look, hear me out. Obviously, he can't play for you for the first 2 weeks, but when the time comes and he is fully healthy, he is going to be one of the best running backs in college football. Having that on your bench or having that on IR right now is so valuable. And fantasy championships are won in the later weeks. The first 4 weeks, everyone's feeling it out. No one really knows who's going to do what. Everyone knows that the real time to play is the final 6 weeks of the season, and that's when Ahmad Hardy is going to shine. Ahmad Hardy is the sleeper pick.
Interesting. All right. So arguably the best running back in college football is a sleeper pick. You heard it here first from Christian Kirby. I do like the waiver wire play, though. Those make the differences in fantasy football leagues.
Telling you.
You got to camp that waiver wire, baby. You got to be ready. You got to be ready to pull the trigger. That one's one. Like, that's just also kind of luck of the draw. Like, whichever order you are on the waiver wire that week, and Ahmad Hardy is like, oh, he's full go. He's going to play this week. It's all luck, man. Whoever's going to get that priority list, man.
Keep that on your IR.
This one is my favorite category, I think. It's called the don't overthink it. In other words, if you need this player at a position and you're kind of debating between some players of who you're going to draft at this spot, and you see this one player in your mind, you're like, this player is probably going to have a great season, but I just don't know if he has enough flash. Don't overthink it. Just draft him. You're going to be good. For example, Deshaun Bishop for Tennessee, the running back.
Yes.
Don't overthink this one. If Ahmad Hardy's off the board, or if Keiwan Lacey's off the board, if Mark Fletcher's off the board, if all these great running backs have already been taken, and you're still sitting there needing either a second running back or a starting running back, and you see this Tennessee running back who put up over 1,000 yards last year, and you're like, yeah, he put up good numbers last year, but he doesn't have any luster to his name. Well, just know that Tennessee's offense always produces a great run game. Deshaun Bishop is a great running back. He's going to put up numbers. You're going to be more than okay if you draft Deshaun Bishop. Don't overthink it, baby.
I don't know what everyone's strategy is when it comes to where you draft certain position players, but I think this is the epitome of a don't overthink it player. If it comes your turn to draft and this player is available, don't overthink it. Malachi Toney. Malachi Toney has been such an integral piece to the Miami offense. He's going to be even more integral this year with Carson Beck not there. I know Darian Mintz is a great quarterback, but we've seen him used in the Wildcat. We've seen him return punts. I know it doesn't earn you points on fantasy. We've seen him throw touchdowns. We've seen him run touchdowns. He is the gadget player that makes the difference for Miami. Don't overthink it. Take him. He is the don't overthink it pick for me.
Yeah, that's one of those, if you have the first overall pick, might not want to overthink it. You might just want to go Malachi Toney. And that's not me saying that, hey, he's better than Jeremiah Smith. Someone on the show has said that before. Not me, though. Not saying that, but from a fantasy football perspective, you're exactly right. The value when it comes to fantasy, he probably does have more value in that regard than maybe Jeremiah Smith does because they use him in so many different ways. They give him the ball in so many different ways. My other don't overthink it. And I feel like I've been talking about this player so much this week that I might have to stop it, but I won't. Deuce Robinson. Yeah, he plays for Florida State.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't know how good Florida State is going to be, but if there is a wide receiver in college football this year that you can bank on the fact that he is going to get force-fed, it is Deuce Robinson. That dude is going to put up numbers again with Jayden Daniels no matter what. No matter how many wins Florida State has, no matter what the situation is, that dude is going to be getting the football.
I don't have any other don't overthink it. I think Malachi Toney is such a home run that I ended it there. What is our next?
We have breakout candidates. So my first breakout candidate is Isaiah Horton with Texas A&M.
That's a great
Isaiah
one.
Horton had a little over 500 yards last season, I want to say, with Alabama. I think he could have 300 more yards added to that with this Aggie offense because he fills a position of something that they need. We've talked about it all the time with Texas A&M, how they didn't have an X receiver last year, didn't have a big body guy outside for Marcel Reed to throw to last year. They do now. Yes, they have some Yak guys still on the roster. I understand that. I understand that Mario Craver is still on the roster, but Isaiah Horton feels a massive need for that offense. I think he's going to be getting his fair share of receptions this season.
I've got a breakout candidate that I think, honestly, I don't know if this is the right play, but I think Nate Frazier is Georgia running back. Nate Frazier is in the running for having a fantastic season in 2026. Georgia is going to be a more run-based team, even more so than they were last year. I think the loss of Zachariah Branch has weighed heavy on that. They're going to involve getting Gunnar Stockton. I know there's a lot of hands to feed in that running back room. Chauncey Bowens is another player that's going to take a lot of carries away from him. We saw Nate Frazier go almost over 1,000 yards last year. We haven't seen a Georgia running back do that in a long time. I think there's a real possibility that Nate Frazier carries the brunt of the load for Georgia and is the rushing touchdown leader and is the rushing yards leader for that team.
All right, for you college football fantasy league sickos, here's a pick for you. Ian Strong, Cal wide receiver, played for Rutgers last season, had over 700 yards and 5 touchdowns. Hey,
Sorry.
Fernando can wait.
Sorry.
Fernando Mendoza can wait.
I hear heavy footsteps.
You need to be focusing on Ian Strong.
I'm sorry.
Plus,
I'm focusing on the loud footsteps coming. I think
And-
he's here. There's a thud going on upstairs.
and
man.
what if I also told you that Ian Strong is going to be playing with maybe the best quarterback in college football this season at Cal? If you don't know about that one, we'll have a film study for you coming shortly about JKS.
How would you pronounce that gentleman's name?
I believe it's. I'm not going to try and pronounce his second first name. I think it's Jaren Sagapulitele.
Good enough, dude. That's
All
that
right,
works.
let's go. I was avoiding it, but all right.
Good job, man. Where are we at now? Are we on league winner?
If you don't have any more breakout candidates, and yes, we're on our league winners. League winners, it's if you draft this guy, he might be the sole reason why you walk away with the championship. So this is just going to be great football players, essentially, but ones that could easily win you your league.
I think that if you have a solid quarterback who is able to give you consistent points and do a lot for the offense week in and week out, he doesn't really have down weeks, and if he does have down weeks, they're not catastrophic. That is what wins the league. There he is.
What's up, boys?
He has
Hello,
a goodie
Brooks.
bag.
A goodie bag.
They must have had it in his hotel room at the resort.
It's actually a country club, one that I'll never play at. That's for damn sure.
Nice.
That was fancy pantsy. You boys been having a good show?
We
I
have
think
been
so.
having a pretty good
You
show.
tell us. You've been locked in.
Yeah, I've been locked in. Nothing I vehemently disagree with.
Okay.
You know,
That's good.
so we're good on that front.
All right. Good
Make
news.
sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, and rate and review. And if you haven't already, not an Always Sunny fan.
The only time I watched is when we watched it in the truck on our way home from somewhere.
Well, the implications, you know. Yeah, y'all keep doing what you're doing. I'm gonna catch up.
All right. So league winner number 1 for me is Malachi Toney. For the exact reasons why you said do not overthink that one. Malachi Toney is absolutely a league winner for you when it comes to college football fantasy leagues. I mean, that guy's going to do everything. He's going to put up numbers. One of the best wide receivers in college football. So much value there.
Yeah, I think that, like I said, most of the time you win your league because of just having consistently really good to great quarterback play. I think that's what you're going to get from Trinidad Chambliss this year. I think that he's someone who's going to do a lot for that offense. We saw him kind of will himself to a college football playoff run that was incredible, that no one expected Ole Miss to go on. He's a Heisman candidate this year. Everyone is very high on him. I think Trinidad Chambliss is a guy that can win you your league.
So on the flip side, I also have Keywan Lacey as my league winner because Ahmad Hardy isn't going to start the season probably, which makes Keywan Lacey the best running back available for my money. A lot of value at the running back position. If he's available when you're picking, if you don't have the number 1 overall pick, probably should go with Keywan Lacey.
Yeah, I think that any consistent quarterback that you know is going to put up really, really good numbers to sometimes great throughout the year. Like, I know it might sound crazy, but maybe even like a Gunnar Stockton on this, because Gunnar Stockton had some not great days, but never had just a catastrophically bad, oh my God, this guy sucks type of day. So perhaps that, but I think Trinidad Chambliss is certainly the guy that wins you a league.
My last one, and this is because there's probably going to be about 5 or 6 players that go ahead of him at his position, if I had to guess, and you're going to look like a genius when you get this guy in like the 3rd round or the 4th round. Drew Messmaker. Going to put up better numbers than any other quarterback.
Did anybody mention Deshaun Bishop?
I did.
Okay.
He was in my category of don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Just hey, Tennessee runs the ball really well.
It's going to work no matter
they've
what.
always
Like, you're
ran the
not.
ball
It's not
really
going to be a
well.
bad pick.
And unless you're in a group like a league full of ball knowers, everyone drafts names.
Right.
Deshaun Bishop is not one of these names yet, like household guys, but you got to know ball to understand that, like, one of your first 4 backs every year should be a Tennessee running back.
Certainly.
They're going to run the hell up out the rock.
Yep.
Anybody take Kamario Taylor?
Oh, that would have been a good one.
Ooh,
See,
no.
if he would have been here, he would have been listed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Kamario Taylor's going to put up a lot of fantasy points this
Yes.
year
Mm-hmm.
because like the disproportionate advantage to having a running quarterback in fantasy is
For sure.
through the roof.
Absolutely.
So there's that. I see you pounding the Mini Coochie drum constantly,
Got to, dude.
Got to.
He's my guy.
He reps it. He
rocking
stays
the blue
cons-
hens.
I haven't
stays
backed off
consistent.
of it one bit, nor have I let the people forget.
I might see what I can do. Maybe we got
Now,
some
when
Delaware
I do
coaches
that,
following us.
I get called an addict, and I get told, "Hey, Put the spoon down. Give
Because
up. When you do that, you're commended.
There has
for
been
it.
too many occasions where it's been shown of, buddy, it's just not going to happen with Kansas. It's not going to work.
We don't know
like,
that.
The run is over.
It's a new year.
Nick Minicucci was in the top 10 for passing yards last season, and people probably don't even know that. It's working. He's balling. There's no need for me to hop off the spoon right now.
I'm never getting off the spoon. I love you, Kansas, and I always will. So that is all I have to say about that.
Apparently, Alabama scrimmage today.
Yeah, running
The
back
fan
room
base. The fan base has already named Keelan Russell the starter, so there's that.
sounds like the running back room's a little bit banged up as well.
Mhm.
So.
Have they
AK
said anything
Deer.
about AK Deer yet?
No idea. I also saw in our chat
No
yesterday
idea.
that Latsier Brooks is in a boot. That's not ideal because Noah Rogers should be back at some point, but
Right.
he's banged up too. So, yeah, I mean they're itching to name Keelan Russell the starting quarterback in that fan base. So,
I mean, look, I get it. We've talked about it. He's the hot name right now. I mean, he's the former 5-star. He's all the great things.
and Jonathan, the way the ball comes out of his hand.
So, you know what? You say that. I actually saw a clip from an Alabama fan today of Austin Mack and Keelan Russell throwing the same route, and he said, the balls look the same. We can't pick a wrong choice here.
How's Fernando playing?
He's doing all right now. He got us on the goal line. So
Good to know. Hey, let's go to the local hour. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog?
What's up? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
We're back.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into the local hour. We have a whole nother loaded hour of content for you guys. I don't know what we're going to talk about. The boys put together the show notes today. I was a little busy because friend of the show, Aaron Murray, feels like
I know that guy.
Yeah, you know that guy? Feels like it's okay to hit me up, I don't know, 12 hours before an event, and it's like, hey, we had a cancellation. Do you want to come to this Terry College of Business speaking event? Drew Butler's not going to be able to make it. It's going to be you, Travaris King, Keith Marshall, Davin Bellamy, and myself. And I'm like, okay, this ought to be funny. So I go, and the person doing the intros obviously had no earthly idea who the hell I was. Why would you? I mean, why would you? Why would you know who I am? Apparently, I played defensive back at Georgia from 2012 to 2017 or 15.
Dang, dude.
really,
And the only thing I could think of was the people in the audience that had no idea who I was were probably like, damn, this fat guy? this fat white guy?
He let
this fat white guy
himself
play DB at Georgia? No wonder we were terrible in that era of football.
That's a Ray Goff recruit if I've ever seen one.
Right? Mark Rick was wilding. Why is this walk-on sitting up here talking to me? And I kind of was like, and Keith was sitting next to me. He's like, just
go
take
with
it.
it.
Just go with it. I'm like, all right, so let's see what they gave me.
oh, you haven't opened it yet?
Yeah, no, I haven't. Let's see. Ooh.
Coffee?
Coffee. Attack the Day coffee.
Nice.
Jittery Joe's.
Oh, Jittery Joe's
Isn't that, doesn't Theus, isn't he associated with Jittery Joe's?
That's a
different.
Scooters.
Okay. And a thermos.
Ooh,
Love that.
Put your coffee in.
Neither of you graduated from the College of Business at Terry, did you?
Correct.
It's pretty good school.
Most schools UGA has is really good. Yeah. Ooh, we got something else.
Oh, this is Give Us Money.
Oh, I thought it was a picture of you playing at Georgia.
AI would have had gotten crazy on that edit.
Discord's already cooking them up, I'm sure.
So, yeah, the funny part was the intro and then watching everybody just kind of like, oh, we're talking about something other than Georgia. Brooks, what do you got on that? So that was cool. Hopefully I won over some people in that room
Well,
that had no idea who I was.
I guess it
but
was
yeah.
at least fitting that since it was at Terry, you are a business major yourself. So that was it. You at least filled one necessary role there.
Yeah. No offense to my glorious alma mater, but yeah, the shorter College of Business, not exactly on par with the Terry College of Business. I mean, my MBA was the easiest degree you could ever possibly get. Quizlet, shout out. Yeah, man, we had to go do that though. Not very often you get last minute opportunities to go speak in front of a room full of people who are pretty well off.
Absolutely.
I would imagine.
Well, they will be in short order.
I will let you boys.
I would like to point out that this is probably one of the best comments I've seen. It comes from Charles DDY6545. Keith Marshall's 40 time was lower than his high school GPA.
Wow. Well, that's the out-of-state GPA.
Well, I think it's more of a joke just to talk about how fast and smart Keith Marshall is.
Yeah, but you can't have maybe weighted.
Yeah.
I mean, he ran 4.28 or 4.22.
I don't think it's a fact, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a joke.
I was being.
But it
little-
might be factual. I don't know.
That's my bad. All right, what's on the docket for the local?
All right. We have so far. Is it possible for this year's roster to be more lovable than the 2025 team? I also said that since we came across how bad NFL draft scouts are at evaluating Georgia football players, perhaps we should go back and give our own draft evaluations on those players right now to give a more accurate description of what those scouts should have said. You have?
No.
Oh, I got you.
Off camera directing you.
Also, considering the news with Jayden Daniels and the number and everything, we decided maybe we should spark up a conversation of which Georgia players could make the request for no one else to wear their number ever again. Maybe we get to preview the Auburn football game this year, and we have some Stetson Bennett news to hit as well. And we always love that. It's that time of year, baby. Stetson Bennett back on top.
Before we give love to the local hours, is there anything else you think we need to give love to, Brooke?
Yeah, we need to figure out a way to get this screen sharing app to work and get over there and do this ad read for our friends over at SeatGeek.
Our good pals.
Our good pals, our great friends. If you haven't checked out SeatGeek yet, you need to go ahead and do that. We love our friends over at SeatGeek with over 35 million downloads. SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app in the entire world. There are more than 70,000 events available over on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and much, much more. College football is right around the corner. The MLB playoffs as well. Plus NFL starting to ramp up. We got Kirby locked in over there to Raiders football for some godforsaken reason. Let's take a look. Do we have it up? Are we ready to go?
Is your screen ready? That's the better question.
Yeah, I mean, my stuff is working over here. Supposed to be. So anyways, I'm trying to get this screen sharing app up. We need to get this settled and good to go. It says I'm on.
Okay. Give me 1 second. It was ready and then it went away.
What games should we check out tonight?
We listed the top 10 must-see games of the 2026 season, and we obviously a unanimous decision that the LSU and Ole Miss game was number one. I think that's probably one that we've already looked at. Miami at Notre Dame, I think, is also a game that we looked at. How about Ohio State at Texas? I don't think we've seen prices for that one.
I'm going to check it out right now. Yeah, we have. Ohio State at Texas, we checked that out.
Well, then how about UGA at Bama, our fourth must-see game?
All right, let's look at Georgia at Alabama. By the way, I am looking at this on my phone. I hope you guys can see this at some point, maybe not today. Let's see here. We're going to have to search Alabama because that is an Alabama home game. All right. And what I do love about SeatGeek, apart from many of things over there on SeatGeek, is they do have that fire emoji that lets you know what is indeed the best ticket available and the best deal that you can possibly get. Right now, you can sit in row 2 on the 50 for $860 over there on SeatGeek.
Bad.
And guess what? Here's the deal. If you're searching for value with our promo code FilmGuide10, 10% off any ticket. Why not get the bang for your buck right there with the discount? Buy the $860 ticket and you'll get $86 off. How about that?
Yeah.
With FilmGuide10. Again, that's promo code FilmGuide10, 10% off any ticket. Make sure you click the link in the description of this video and head over there and support those who support us. All right, back to your running of the show.
All right, so I think we should start with the news, some pretty prominent news considering recent events, I would say, with this organization. So we said we had some Stetson Bennett news, and the news is that he will be starting for the LA Rams. Do they play tomorrow? I believe
Saturday.
They play Saturday.
So
Stetson
2 days
Bennett will
from
be
now.
getting the nod. Obviously, Matthew Stafford is not going to be playing in this preseason game. There's no need for him to at this point. Although, Joe Flacco's still running it out there in the preseason game for some reason, despite how long he's been playing in the league. But Stetson Bennett getting the nod, and this is important because Ty Simpson was drafted in the first round of this year's NFL draft by the LA Rams. Looks like Stetson Bennett might have the edge so far in that QB2 battle.
Yeah, and I know there was a lot of controversy when it was announced that the Rams were drafting Ty Simpson. Like, oh, well, that's the end of the Stetson Bennett and Los Angeles Rams story. He's going to get pushed off to the side. And from everything we heard in the offseason, he fought off Ty Simpson, and now it seems like he has the pedigree and the pecking order in there. Obviously, preseason starts don't always mean something. I mean, we had Joe Flacco playing tonight in the preseason. So I think it's more just like another good sign that, hey, the Rams still very much believe in Stetson Bennett. The Rams still very much are buying into Stetson Bennett. You can't kill the mailman. So
I mean, every time Sean McVay or Les Snead gets in front of a microphone and talks about Stetson Bennett, that's all they've ever talked about is how much they still believe and like that guy. I mean, there's a reason why they drafted him. They've remained somewhat loyal to him. I know that they've had Jimmy Garoppolo on the roster, but they've given Stetson plenty of opportunities to continue to grow as a player. They've kept him on the roster. So that to me tells them that they still think that there might be some talent that they can tap into with him if they ever need him.
They've done a lot of things standing by Stetson Bennett that I don't think you would do for a lot of backup quarterbacks unless you believed in him. Because most of the time it's such an interchangeable role.
Right.
Certainly.
Especially when you draft someone 21st overall, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, as someone who's done really in-depth film studies on both of them, and I know you probably haven't studied Stetson in a while, why would you give Stetson Bennett the nod, apart from the fact that he's been in the organization longer?
So I think the sneaky thing about Stetson, I mean, the athleticism is there. I think he's a better mobile quarterback than Ty. He throws on the run better than Ty. The sneaky thing about him is his football intellect is off the charts. I don't think that gets talked about enough with him. But physically, I mean, he can make all the throws. The 5-step no hitch he threw last year in the preseason game was, I mean, it's the definition of an NFL throw. It's a tight window to get to your under center 5th step no hitch. That's something that I don't think Ty could do right now. Ty's probably going to hitch up just a little bit because it's hard to feel that comfortable and to get your footwork to the right spot to where when that back foot hits on that 5th step, we're actually ready to drive the ball. That's why most kids take hitches so they can get that foot back up underneath them. And every little minuscule detail could create problems at the next level. So, but no, Ty's a little bit taller, obviously, a little bit bigger, but the arm talent of Stetson Bennett doesn't get talked about enough.
No.
So yeah, I mean, I don't understand why they drafted him, to be honest with you. I think it was their room was fine. The quarterback room was fine. If anything, they needed – maybe they knew that Aaron Donald was coming out of retirement. Maybe they knew that they were going to be able to trade for Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Maybe they knew these things, which I don't know how you could forecast those types of deals during a draft process. But
No clue.
I would imagine there was something else they probably could have used on their roster other than a backup quarterback for the next – I mean, guys, Matt Stafford won the damn MVP last year.
Matt
It wasn't
Stafford
like
and
he signed a
it's like
2-year
he's a bad
extension.
football player.
And I was about to say, and Sean McVay made it out like he certainly wanted something else other than a quarterback in this draft.
I think he came back out and backtracked those statements a little bit. It made it seem like he had to say that so Matthew didn't get upset, particularly Matthew's wife.
I mean, does Matthew Stafford really think that a rookie's going to steal his job after winning the MVP?
No, it's not about stealing jobs. It's about, dude, I got a window left, and you're out here drafting the future for 5 years down the road.
Yeah.
We need to win Super Bowls right now.
Why are you
Bubba.
trying to – let's open the window, not try to
go
build
get
the
me a
next one.
safety. Go get me
okay.
a corner. Go get me something that's actually going to help the roster that I'm playing on, not the roster 3 years from now. So, no, I mean, you guys know how I feel about Ty Simpson, but Ty probably should have been drafted by somebody else. Mm-hmm. The scary thing for me about Ty is that we're going to sit for 4 years in college, play one season, and then we're going to sit for another 3 or 4 years in pro ball.
Yeah.
We're going to play 1 year of competitive football, by the way, which we didn't survive. Mm-hmm. We had banged up ribs. We had banged up all kinds of stuff. Those things would scare me if I were a Rams fan, but I'm not, so I don't really care.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that's kind of the breakdown of those two. I think they're relatively equivalent. It's not like Ty is a physical specimen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be a little bit different if Ty were 6'5", 230 pounds, but he's not. So,
Well, if you're a Georgia fan and you need to scratch that football itch, you can go watch the mailman play some ball this weekend in an NFL preseason game. Now, Kirby, you proposed this question in the notes today of, is it possible for this year's roster to be more lovable than 2025?
And I want to pose why I kind of asked this question, because it first falls onto the shout out to the UGA creative team. Without a doubt, and this is unbiased, I would say this if I was not a Georgia fan, they are one of the best creative teams in college football right now. The way they cover that team, the highlight videos that they post, the hype videos, it is all fantastic, and it paints them in such a great light. And watching the Skull Olympics and the things that they've already posted this offseason, I am already in love with this team, already in love with some. Now, it's some of the players we've seen already. We know Nate Frazier, we know London Humphreys, we know Gunner, we know KJ, we know some of the players on this, so we already know these personalities. But the way they are portrayed and the way you get to feel connected with them, they are already an extremely lovable football team. So my question is there a way that the 2026 Georgia Bulldogs roster becomes more lovable than 2025? Because I think we can all agree 2025 roster ended disappointingly. It was not a perfect roster. It's not Kirby Smart's best roster. But my God, did they make people who were kind of on the fence about Georgia football fall in love with football again? It's one of the more likable teams. They gave many, many heart attacks, but by gosh, they always found a way to win 90% of the time.
So my answer to this is yes, there is a way where they could be more lovable than last year's team, but I think that would require them probably winning a national title. And the reason why I say that is because part of the reason why the 2025 team was so loved by the fan base and was such a team that was a team that was well liked by, I would say, majority, if not most of or all of Georgia fans last year, is because it was such a breath of fresh air compared to what you had to watch in 2024, where you had a quarterback that was clearly dealing with issues on the field, and it seemed like he didn't know where his emotions needed to go and had no emotions at time or showed emotions at the wrong time. The wide receiver room didn't show up in big moments when you needed them. The defense certainly didn't play to the degree that you thought they should that season. Teams ran the ball on you, like things that you were not accustomed to as a Georgia fan were happening in 2024. And then 2025 starts up, and you have Zachariah Branch, who's one of the best playmakers as a wide receiver in the sport. You have Gunnar Stockton, who will live and die by the G every single Saturday and shows immense amount of toughness. You had a defense that had pride in stopping the run. You had running backs and offensive linemen that knew what they were supposed to be doing and showed pride in running the football. It was such a breath of fresh air moment that it was almost impossible for you not to fall in love with that team.
Right, but what's interesting about it is yes, I completely agree it's a breath of fresh air. But a lot of the issues that we had in 2024, we had in 2025. They were still down early in games. There were still moments where the defense felt like Swiss cheese, where it's like they can't stop anything. There were still times where it's like, why the hell are they losing in this game? There was not a world where a 4-8 Florida team should have a fourth quarter lead against you. There's not a world where, Alabama should go 9 for 9 on its first third downs. I've harped on these points all before. So it's interesting because, yes, it is a breath of fresh air in that it felt like that team was playing for each other. You're absolutely right. But a lot of the deficiencies that we saw in 2024 were still kind of prevalent in 2025. I don't think that they had a super explosive offense. They ran the ball much better, certainly, but the pass rush was pretty much non-existent. And you can say what you want about how quick release times were for the opposing quarterbacks. Last in sacks in the SEC is a bad pass rush, even if you're Georgia.
Question, is there anybody on this defense as likable as C.J. Allen and Kristen Miller?
It's a great question, and I think that's going to play a massive factor into it. I don't know.
Chris Cole, a freak.
Yeah.
Chris Cole, a freak.
Going to be the best player on the field in 90% of the games that they play this year.
I think Justin Williams has the potential to be. I love Justin Williams.
Big TikTok guy, huh?
I don't watch much. I don't have his TikTok, actually. The interactions I've had with Justin Williams and the times I've interviewed him and everything I've seen on camera, one of the best smiles, one of the more personal players. The fact that he plays linebacker is a bit of an anomaly because of how nice he is. So Justin Williams has potential to be this, but his on-field production has not matched his personality, I would say.
I would probably say that I still don't know, because I think one of the reasons why Kristen Miller and C.J. Allen were so loved is because they were great people, and also they showed leadership on the field, and fans were attracted to that, and they were great players. But there are also multiple years where you got to see them in that spotlight. Like C.J. Allen was the guy in the linebacker room for multiple seasons. Kristen Miller, for the last 2 seasons of his career, was the guy in the defensive line room. We haven't gotten to see that from Chris Cole yet because C.J. Allen existed. We haven't maybe gotten to see that in K.J. Bolden necessarily because C.J. Allen and Kristen Miller existed, or any of these other players on the defense. I think because those 2 players are no longer on the roster, you can figure that out this year. Maybe a guy does emerge to that capability of C.J. Allen and Kristen Miller.
Just thought it was worth the question because,
it's a great question.
C.J., I think, is one of the more likable linebackers they've had at Georgia.
For sure, certainly.
In several years.
Probably since Jacoby.
Yeah, I was going to go there. Like, he's almost in that echelon
For sure.
of likability. I think Gunner's last year, midway through the year, people had question marks about him, and now that won't really exist. You'll go into the season as a Georgia fan knowing you'll die for this guy. I don't think you learned that until Tennessee last year.
I think it really showed in the Auburn game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
and
it took Gunnar Stockton almost dying in that game for you to actually win that football game. Those plays that he made in the fourth quarter in crunch time, I mean, there's multiple times where he's just getting absolutely hammered by the defense and is making plays like that dude and diving into the end zone for the touchdown. Like, that dude will die for us.
For me, it was the Florida game because of everything that the lead up to it with his grandpa, the way that he won that game, the kneeling at the end, the interview post game. Like, that was the moment where it's like, that is Georgia's quarterback. And if you have any disagreements about that or questions, you are the problem. There is obviously going to be a very vocal minority this year, and they always exist. They will exist for as long as this Georgia football team exists, where people go, he's not the one. I need to see the backup. I need to see Ryan in there. So I'm not even acknowledging that anymore. They're wrong. I think we can all agree with that. Gunnar Stockton will be loved by 90% of this fan base.
Should be. Absolutely should be.
So, yeah, that was just an interesting question of like...
I think it is possible. I think there's a world where it happens, but again, it might require them at least going further in the playoff than they did last year, because
Certainly.
I think that there was such a step up from 2024 to 2025 that's why it played such a huge role in why they were loved so much. I don't think you're going to get that much of a step up this year as far as like how much you love this team.
Unless you win.
Unless you win.
That's how you win them over.
Absolutely.
You win football
Unlovable,
games.
no doubt about that.
I don't think they'll be in 9-1 score fourth quarter football game conference this year.
They better not.
Probably
be.
not.
Dear
I don't
God.
think
We
that'll
hope
be the
not.
case.
Oh, God, I hope.
I like this next segment about being a scout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought since we crapped on these anonymous NFL scouts from yesterday, if you didn't watch yesterday's show, we had 10 different evals, or we had 10 different players from Georgia's roster where anonymous scouts gave quotes on their evals of these players. And there were several that were quite wrong about these players. Like, to the point where we questioned, were you even watching the right player? Have you ever watched this player before? Do you even know who you're talking about? So I felt necessary, since we are Georgia experts, I would say, we have followed the team very closely for the last many years, that we should give our draft evals on these players because we think that those would actually be accurate.
All right, start throwing them at me. Let's
First
talk
one,
some ball.
Raylan Wilson.
A little bit stiff at times, and which is surprising because the clip I remember of Raylan coming out of high school was him in a FSU camp, and he's covering slot receivers like he's a freakazoid.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my God, what is this? He has gotten bigger, and I think with the additional muscle mass, we might have gotten a little bit stiffer. But has been constant, right? Like, the availability of that football player is something that I would draft for sure. Very curious to see how he ultimately runs, because the flash plays are lacking from him, in my opinion. He's just a very consistent football player.
Yep.
But when I think of, like, can you translate to the league, I need to see flash and explosivity, even at the linebacker position. That would be one thing that he is lacking. Also, despite the fact that I thought he was going to be, his coverage ability was going to be through the roof coming out of high school.
Struggles in zone.
Yeah, we haven't made plays on the football. I think his last interception was the first game of his career. He had pick 6.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think
God, I forgot that.
I don't think we've made a play on a ball since then. So that would be something that needs to take an improvement. But with that being said, like, he's not going to get those opportunities this year. The will on this roster will be Chris Cole. So maybe get better as a green dog blitzer.
Yeah.
Like, Nakobe's step from his second year to his third year, in my opinion, was ironically enough, as a pass rusher.
Yeah.
He beat a lot of guards and centers with good elite hand fighting skills. And that, to me, set him apart as an inside linebacker.
The double mug A-gap blitzes that they ran
Was
that year,
insane.
pretty much unstoppable.
Yeah, Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean standing up in A-gap was terrifying, because you probably knew Quay was going to drop. And good God, how much ground that guy could cover. And then if Channing Tindall came on the field,
Yeah.
just twitched up as can be from a beating guards and center standpoint. So those would be my things about Raylan.
Next player, Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah, this has been talked about ad nauseum. The throw mechanics are stiff. That's one thing that, like, one of the sources we spoke to a couple of days ago was like, he's got really fluid mechanics. I'm like, I don't know, man. We're a little stiff back there. But I do think they've tuned that up a little bit. Seeing him Sunday, the motion has gotten some fluidity. We're still a little long with it, but it's not like here. You can't like count the steps in the motions. It felt like last year we were down to up to out. Now it's kind of down to up and out, if that makes sense. With his mechanics, so it's a little bit more fluid. I think the thing about him is watching the growth from series to series. The ability to obviously understand where we went wrong and go fix that in between downs. I don't think he'll ever be an elite NFL thrower of the football, but you don't need to be that to be a great college quarterback.
No.
He is very akin to Max Duggan to me. Without Max was a Texas high school state champion on the track, so he's not like that fast. But I also think I agree with one of the SEC sources we spoke to the other day about it. I don't think they are allowed to use him like he should be used as a physical runner, because they still don't know who their backup quarterback is. And if we don't know who our backup is, we can't run our starter.
Right.
And that's a problem that I think sometimes they might run into. But no, everyone talks about the layering of the football. He's certainly got to get better at that, but I don't know if he'll ever get better at that. Just like I don't know if Arch Manning's going to get better at that. That's something, natural touch and natural layering of the football. Those are what we call natural throwers of the ball. When you hear the words natural thrower of the football, most people think like, oh, his mechanics are pretty. No, we got people who have pretty mechanics that can't layer the football. He is one of these people that has to grow, but I wouldn't, if this were my last year with him, I wouldn't even care for growth there. We would design offense around what he can do.
Right.
And consistently hammer those things.
Next player is Chris Cole.
The stiff safety.
Yeah, there is no maybe like contact strength. Like I don't know of a big hit that he's laid on a football player at this point in his career.
Contact strength and ability to finish in the backfield, I think, are the two weaknesses out
That's really it.
Yeah.
Everything else, the dude is made to play football.
Yeah.
He is the best at everything that you do. And I think that's also a thing that he kind of ran into last year, at least talking to sources. They were like, I felt like Chris's production got hindered because he was the best at everything. So we had to make him do it all instead of specialize in one thing.
Right.
And, maybe that'll be the specialty this year. The specialty is now you've had 2 full seasons of being asked to do everything. Now you're just going to be great at everything. And honestly, like, it sounds insane, but he is that elite of a football player. I can't wait to watch the world, like the entire world, not just like inklings of ball knowers, the entire world to understand what this dude is this year for the University of Georgia. He will be a top 10 pick.
KJ Bolden.
Yeah, I went back and rewatched him and only him. And his ability to tackle in the open field is
Impressive.
Insane. I would put him up there with Chris Smith as like the best open field tackler I've ever seen from that safety position. Richie would make big hits, but Richie would also take bad angles.
He would whiff every now
and whiff, and he would give up explosives because correct. He would give up explosives because he was doing things like that. This is the best tackler they've ever had, and he's a tremendously smooth athlete. I remember watching him in high school in a 7-on-7 event, and the amount of ground he covered while not looking like he was trying hard made me think of, and I've talked about this on this network before, Ichiro Suzuki. Ichiro Suzuki, obviously a baseball player, but if you watch Ichiro cut the bags and run, he never looked like he was sprinting. And then you would come to find out he covered the most ground and ran faster and cut the bags faster than anybody else. That's what this guy's got going for him. He's got natural angle awareness. He's got natural football instincts. He is a great football player and a great tackler. And I want to see him make more plays on the football. That's been talked about. But no, man, that dude was all over the place at that scrimmage we watched or practice we watched.
Next player we have on the list is Ellis Robinson.
Chat's asking if he's better. I don't envision Malachi Starks to be the best in that conversation of best tackler. Malachi Starks is the best playmaker they've had in the defensive backfield for a while.
Malachi Starks was a really consistent tackler.
Yeah.
But he was not anything where it's like, you're not breaking that tackle.
No. And I haven't seen a single play on KJ Bolden's 2 years of starting that look anything like that play we saw from Malachi Starks against Auburn, where it's just like, We got out of the gas. And who was that back that wore 29 for Auburn that ran all over you guys that year?
Oh gosh, I watched this game in the offseason. It's a Rogers name, I think.
Yeah, either way, never have I ever seen a play like that from KJ. KJ is always around the ball and always making tackles. Who's the next player?
Ellis Robinson.
Jarquez Hunter.
Jarquez Hunter.
I was thinking Jarquez Rogers. Shout out the Falcons.
Yeah, Ellis Robinson, probably the most polished young corner that they've had at Georgia, I would say, in the Kirby Smart era. Like, they've always had talented corners, but this dude is pedigree. Like, this dude is Dalen Everett's pedigree from IMG Academy to the University of Georgia on steroids. This kid is played 3 years at IMG Academy, was the number one guy there forever, played for, SFE, the 7-on-7 unit out of South Florida, and then went on to start 2.5 years at the University of Georgia. He is as polished as they come, extremely long, has the ability to play the ball in the air, never ever feels like he is stressed at the cornerback position, never panics. In fact, I think he's one of the only young corners we've ever seen that doesn't get called for a litany of pass interferences when he first gets on the field. I don't even know if Ellis has a PI.
Oh, go watch Tennessee.
Yeah.
That is one. That was the
happened.
only one I thought of.
And
That
go
definitely
watch,
happened.
Go watch Clemson. Now he's a freshman. It's his first game.
Yeah.
Clemson. He panics a little bit. He has not panicked
Yeah.
nearly as much.
Yeah, no, I think of the play against Georgia Tech. Very few corners can make that play.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Very few corners can make that play. This dude is he's bona fide. He probably could get bigger. Probably could become a more physical tackler. But I don't pay corners to tackle.
Nope.
I do not pay corners to tackle.
Nah, that's just a bonus.
Yeah.
Next on the list, your guy, Drew Bobo.
He is Ben Jones to me. He is David Andrews. He is smarter than athletic, despite the fact that I think he's going to test actually relatively well. His football acumen is through the roof. And if I'm drafting a center, I'm drafting somebody that I know can handle all of the calls, can handle all of the offense, can take things off of the quarterback's plate, which is exactly what Drew does. And his football acumen shows up, and it's so paramount nowadays because so many defenses are doing so much chaos on rundowns where they're stunting, they're running tons and nut stunts, and they're doing all this twisting and wrapping and trying to create chaos. If we can study film at a really, really high rate, and if we know ball at a really, really high rate, we can anticipate those things, and we can get all five guys on the same page. Since I have done what I have done at Georgia from a studying the game standpoint, no center during my time has ever gotten all five guys on the same page like this guy does.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get beat very often. I think he could get a little lazy last year in play action pass. Got to get better there. But other than that, he's an elite center.
Agreed. Nate Frazier, running back on the list. A head down, one cut running back according to NFL Scout.
North and South.
Yeah, I just wish sometimes it would look smooth from him. It looks too twitchy and too
It's the perfect way to describe him.
It's the only way to describe him. It's just and so that's his personality, by the way. He is just always on go. If we could just tone it down just a little bit. The ball security got fixed last year, it felt like at times. Towards the end of the year, we were way too listening to coach in the middle of games about dirty yards. And it's honestly something Mike talked about in his opening press conference last year about how we got to get Nate to focus on sticking his nose in there and just picking up the 4 that is available instead of trying to make too many cuts and get the 45 that he thinks he can get.
Yeah.
Trusting, and it'll be a whole hell of a lot easier this year because the offensive line is so damn good.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see the best of Nate Frazier this year. Now, I don't know if he's big enough and fast enough to ever be a top 45 pick at the running back position.
That's fair.
But he's always going to have an NFL job.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Also, I think it's worth noting how healthy he's maintained. I mean, there's basically, he has been available the entire 28 games he's been at Georgia. So
I believe so.
Knock on wood, that stays consistent. Next player is Khalil Barnes, which you haven't studied a ton on tape as nearly as much as some of the other guys on this list. So I think it's fair that you don't have if if you don't have a super detailed scouting report on him.
No, I got you. Tackling strength is not all that great. Watched the Louisville game. He got his face ran through way too many times. Played out of position last year. Is not a deep field safety. I don't love his ability to turn and run in the midfield. He can play the ball, but he can't get to the ball. So that's kind of the most important thing, right? Like, he's the opposite of Lewis Cine as a deep field safety in every sense of the word. But I do love his fluidity as an athlete. What we lack for in explosivity, we make up for in athleticism. We're never really in a bad spot from a footwork standpoint. You're not going to see this guy on the ground a whole lot unless he gets ran over, which last year happened. Maybe this year doesn't. I'm really excited to see, and I think one of the scouts hit on this, I'm really excited to see him play in the true position that he's supposed to be in, which is a nickel back. In college. In pro ball, when you play nickel, oftentimes you're going to have to get manned up against the number 3 wide receiver in the slot, and them dudes can go, all right, on the Sunday league. So I worry about that if I were an NFL scout from can we project this guy to actually play the nickel when we know he can't play deep safety?
Right.
Next player, Gabe Harris.
A physical, grunt-worthy player. I wonder if we can grow even more to become a true maybe 3-tech specific, like positional pass rusher on pass downs in the NFL. What I don't think is going to happen is that we're going to turn into an every down edge rusher on the NFL level. We don't have enough bend. We don't have enough twitch. We win with a lot of aggressiveness, a lot of physicality, and a lot of things that don't really translate to the Sunday NFL game. But it's crazy because coming out of high school, I thought that's what we were going to be. I thought we were going to play football at 255 pounds and be an edge rusher. Last summer, I felt like it was. Last summer, they put like 30 pounds on him. He showed up at like 280 pounds, 285 pounds, and played at that rate. So maybe this year we get back into that. We get more comfortable carrying the weight that we're carrying. But I think of Gabe as an elite college football player that is going to struggle on the NFL rate if I'm gauging it that. You ask NFL scout, that's what an NFL scout should say.
I like it. And the final player to provide a scouting report on or a correction on, tight end Lawson Lucky.
No, I honestly, I think the guy, that was the only player last night. Yeah, it's the only player last night where I felt like you've been watching him. He is an H-back. He's not an inline tight end, which is fine. I mean, but we have got to get more routing. Like, we have to be able to route up a little bit better if that's what we're going to be on the NFL level. If we're going to be a quote-unquote mismatch problem, then we have to get better in that facet.
Agreed.
But his ability to block on the perimeter, especially as the NFL gets more collegey in their screen department, his ability to block smaller than players and not get beat around. Like a lot of corners are going to you out there in space. He unzips his feet so well and attaches and steps on toes so well. And then once he's engaged, it's over with on the outside. So I look at Lawson to be a 4th, 5th round draft pick as an H-back with upside as a potential inline blocker.
I like it. I like it a lot. That concludes the scouting corrections segment for the Film Guy Network. I think it's time we discuss some players who might or might not have a case to request their numbers to be retired. This was a segment that was inspired by the Jayden Daniels controversy that we addressed earlier today.
I think there's only 1, 2, maybe 2.
Okay, well, I have 5.
I have 6 names, and neither of them are
okay, maybe 3.
Okay.
And ironically enough, they're numbers that nobody really wears anyway.
So that kind of plays a role in this for sure. That's a discussion that we had
13, 19, and 34.
Well, 34 already is,
retired.
so that's good news there.
Okay. Well, 13 and 19 then.
Georgia has 4 numbers retired. I believe it's 40, 62, 21, and 34.
I believe that is correct.
So those are numbers that are already retired. There's no need to discuss that.
Yeah, just go ahead and retire 19. This is the greatest tight end in the history of college football for my money. You can argue. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Walk
and
you
that's
with a wall.
I think that's one of the, like, if I have a checkbox list for this, I think the number one thing would have to be you are undoubtedly the best player at your position at Georgia in the history of the program. So Brock Bowers certainly fits that mold. And it's why I didn't throw any running backs on my list, because Herschel's number already is retired. And if you want to get into a debate about Todd Gurley or Nick Chubb, or if you're a No-Sean Marino guy or like a Garrison Hurst guy, in my opinion, there's too much debate there. There's too much debate of who's the best out of those players or who's your favorite. That's really what it boils down to. I think it's just nice and clean to say that Herschel was the greatest to do it. His number already is retired. The rest of them, great football players, probably shouldn't have their number retired.
Do we play Diddy's tonight?
No, was it in the Dropbox?
Yeah, I put it in the Dropbox.
Overlooked.
I did my
myself.
job in
did
the
my
middle
job.
of doing Drew Butler's job.
I completely forgot about it. That's on me. Damn. You didn't remind me either.
Everyone L's
50-50 here.
L's in the chat for Jay will not.
L's in the chat for J. Will.
Massive L.
Three L's in
chat.
J. Will.
Put the tomato emoji in the chat and just spam that.
All
thing.
right. If that's what we're going to do.
47 should be retired.
David Pollock is on my list because I think he is undoubtedly one of the greatest defensive players in Georgia football history. And again, it plays in that role of not too many people rocking 47.
You know how many times I've asked that guy to come on the show?
David?
Yeah.
How many
At least 5.
how many times he said yes?
Oh, he's never responded.
So you haven't even asked him.
Okay.
If they don't hear the response, do they ask? Do you?
If they don't hear the request, did they ever just
Yeah. Did you
decline
ever
a
ask the
response?
question?
I think it's at least 5.
Yeah,
Let me
47.
look at the Instagram DMs.
47 is a great nominee, and he was certainly on my list.
Yeah. No. And 47 is also one of those examples where it's like, yeah, dude, fine. No one else wears 47. Like, oh God, Dan Jackson, what are we gonna do? But yeah, it's not an appealing number. It's not one that's, and I think that's part of what plays into what makes it so iconic. Like, David Pollock is number 47.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is it. Unless you are just a Dan Jackson enthusiast, David Pollock wears number 47.
The only other player I think I can remember who wore 47
No, guys, the tomatoes go to Jay Will, not me.
was Payne, the fullback. Didn't he
Christian Payne.
Christian
yes.
Payne, didn't he wear 47?
A
That's the
legend.
only other 47 that I can
A
remember.
Georgia football legend. You do not beat Missouri in 2016 without Christian Payne. The guy I have on my list too, I think might have an argument for this, or you could at least make a case. I don't think he should be retired, but Rodrigo Blankenship. If you are like number 98, Rodrigo,
And Dan Jackson. Sorry, forgot about that one too.
well, I think we had mentioned him. So
Yeah.
if you are a icon, a pop culture icon as a football kicker, I think there at least deserves to be something said. Like Rodrigo Blankenship, for a period of time, was some Georgia fans' favorite players, and he kicked the football. I think that alone deserves some icon. Like the field goal against Oklahoma in the Rose Bowl, iconic. Like he made a handful of incredible kicks and plays while at Georgia. I think it's also kind of just a legend to give that nod to, of like, yeah, you know what? 98 is Rodrigo Blankenship's.
Valid. Also, how many teams can say they retired a number from a special teams player?
Exactly. I think it's
Wherever Janikowski went to school, Florida State.
Yeah, there was something in the news about that recently too. About I think it is that they're retiring his jersey this year, I believe is what they're doing. So, good call there. I have AJ Green on my list because going back to the stance of undoubtedly the best to play at that position, like Georgia wide receivers, the list starts with AJ Green. That's who you
Yes.
think of.
Yes.
And I know that 8 is a very popular number, so it doesn't play into that role, but undoubtedly probably the greatest Georgia wide receiver.
certainly. And I don't know if the case to say AJ Green's jersey deserves to be retired is strong enough. Number 8 certainly belongs to AJ
Yeah,
Green.
like when you
until
think of number
forever.
8, it's his.
There is no other player that has played for Georgia that even comes close to being able to say, yeah, you know what, you have a case for number 8. The only other one I can think off the top of my head is Riley Ridley. And does not come close to that, unfortunately.
I love how Landon Roldan was like, man, this 84 number.
I got to get this lad
I got to
stench
get
off
this
of me.
lad McConkey comp up off of me. I'm gonna be AJ White.
I like it.
Valid. Shoot for the stars, baby.
Here's a number that I think is long overdue and is also based on what this player did after his time at Georgia. Champ Bailey's number 4 deserves to be retired. When you are by far and away the best football player on a very, very bad Georgia football team, and then you go on to have a NFL Hall of Fame career, arguably one of the greatest cornerbacks of all time in football history, I think the number 4 is long overdue to be retired for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the greatest cornerbacks in football history, like especially what he did in the NFL. Like, he's one of the greatest to ever do it at his spot. I think that's a great shout. Probably a player that doesn't get mentioned in these type of discussions often enough when it comes to Georgia. So I'm completely here for Champ Bailey. I think that's it for my list. I have Roquan, but I mean, I understand why not. And look, I'm completely fine with how Georgia has handled the number 3 so far, at least in the Kirby Smart era. Defensively, nothing but dudes wear that number. It's Quintavious Johnson this year. It was Roquan Smith. It was Kamari Lassiter. Nothing but dudes get to rock number 3.
All right. These next few ones are more experimental and are more if this player pulled a Jayden Daniels and requested, hey, you can't wear my number anymore. This one would never happen, but you deliver 2 national championships and you were a primetime player during your time. If Kirby Smart came forward and said, hey, put 16 in the rafters, no one else is wearing that. London Humphreys, take that off. I think they might just do that. Kirby Smart would never say that. Kirby Smart would never be like, hey, retire number 16. I feel like if Kirby Smart
the dude's going to have the stadium named after him. Is that not enough?
So this is...
I mean, it'll be Kirby Smart Stadium at Vince Dooley Field.
I don't want to blow this segment.
Why? I think this is the best idea.
I think there's so much more content that we would have to...
No, I have to get this out of here.
All right, come on.
I think this is the greatest idea for how you pay your respects to Kirby Smart. When it's all said and done, he retires as Georgia's football head coach. Instead of retiring his number or putting his name on the stadium.
Which, by the way, they're never changing Sanford Stadium. People would riot.
Instead, you make it to where no other Georgia football coach can ever wear the visor. You retire the Big Bill visor that Kirby Smart donned for his entire career.
That's not where I thought
nobody else gets to rep it. It's Kirby's alone. It's done for.
No assistant coaches, nobody.
Nobody's
else, wearing the Big Bill visor.
Because when you think of that visor.
You got to wear the 06 Aaron Carter visor.
Yes.
The bendable one.
That's it. Like it belongs to Kirby Smart. That is his. Nobody wears it ever again. That's how you pay your respects to Kirby Smart.
I like that. That's not where I thought you were taking that, and I'm sorry for trying to derail that. I like that.
I honestly don't know where you thought I was going then, to be honest. So glad I didn't go there, I guess.
Someone said name the bridge after Kirby Smart. What's the bridge name now?
I think it's... I don't think it has a name.
I don't think so either.
Not an official name.
I've never called it an official name. It's just the bridge outside the stadium.
Sanford, yeah. I like that, actually. Name the bridge. That's a great one. Name it because we've already named the field after Vince Dooley. Do not change that. Mark Richt needs to get something too. Mark Richt needs to have his name on something. 1,000%.
I'm not. It's just not the right time to be disrespectful to Mark Richt. I don't think there's ever a right time to be disrespectful to Mark Richt. But like one SEC championship in 15 years does not get you much.
Excuse me. Two SEC championships in 15 years. Multiple
My
appearances.
apologies.
Georgia football is not where it is if Mark Richt does not take over for the 15 years that he was there. I will die on that hill.
All right. Mark Richt was a good football coach.
Mark Richt was a great football coach.
He was not great. Greatness requires winning at its highest levels, and that never happened. So, sorry. Look, I don't know we're going to get a lot of hatred here, but like, he's good. He was really, really good. He was not great.
He was great. He was not elite. Mark Stoops was a really good football coach. Mark Richt is on a completely other tier from that. And don't even. All right. If you saw the face that he just made off camera, that is crazy. Either way, another player I think that may or may not have a case, and again, they would never do this because it is not their personality at all. If Nick Chubb came forward and was like, guys, 27, lock it down, it's mine.
And that's the funniest thing that's never crossed Nick Chubb's mind,
ever.
Probably.
It never will.
Like, it was never like, oh, I hope they retire my number. Like, if it happened, he would probably just be like, thank you, guys. I appreciate this. Very humbling.
So, but would that even be one that you think is warranted?
I mean, 27 does fall in the category of kind of a unique number, at least offensively. You don't get too many guys rocking number 27, so I think it falls under that category. I'm all here for Nick Chubb's number getting retired. He's probably my favorite running back that I've ever watched at the University of Georgia. Like that is my guy right there. So
I do agree though that it is like a slippery slope. Like if you retire Nick Chubb's jersey, you kind of probably have the argument like Sonny Michel's jersey should
no
be
Todd,
retired.
like
so should Todd Gurley.
So that's why I'm like,
jersey.
just keep it with Herschel. Like I'm good with that one. We'll pay our respects to all the other great running backs that have come through Georgia.
Keep it with Herschel, and if you win the Heisman,
Who wore 21?
Frank Sinkwich,
That's what I thought.
the other Heisman winner. So if you win a Heisman, statistics show you get your jersey retired. So
I'm trying to think of the other numbers you rattled off.
40.
40?
I'll read them off for you right
Hold
here.
on. Don't tell me the names.
Buddy, you're not going to get them.
62 you might. Number 62.
62 you could get.
His legacy played for Georgia a few years ago.
Yeah, no, I'm not getting any of these.
62 is Charlie Trippy.
Okay. And then 40.
If you get this one, I would be so impressed. And maybe you've just stared at it enough times being in the stadium, but like, just, let's see.
Hold on.
I want to see if someone in chat gets
I'm
it.
pseudo related to him.
Oh, that's interesting.
What a deep pool.
Yeah, that is a crazy deep pool. How are you pseudo related to this person?
His last name, and I can't believe I'm blanking on it. It's my grandmother's maiden name. Oh my God. My father's going to shoot me.
Oh, well, don't let him do that.
I hope not.
Oh, Marvin
Please
Gaye.
refrain from
Oh,
that.
man. Give it to me.
They're on SAP.
No, not him.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
No, not him.
That was
I
anticlimactic.
was about to say he retired in 1959.
No.
All right. Here's my final one. And we need to set aside what this player was as a career standpoint.
Yeah.
And again, I am not violating. I am not vouching for this.
I'm
just
interested
saying-
for Brooks's perspective.
I'm saying
on
there's
this
an
one.
interesting argument to be had here. There is no and there will never be a more iconic moment than Keely Ringo's pick six. It will forever live in Georgia football history. If Keely Ringo wanted to come forward and say, hey, you guys have to retire my number.
Did Keely Ringo's mom pay you for this take?
I'm asking a question. I am not vouching for it. I'm not lobbying to say Keely Ringo's number. How much of an argument would Keely Ringo have to say, hey,
0.
I gave you one of the most iconic moments in Georgia football history, a moment that will never
0.
be a moment that will never be topped. Retire my number.
Okay, so first off, and we kind of had this discussion pre-show. Do you think Auburn ever retires Chris Davis? Like, do you ever think his number
and
gets
that's the thing.
retired?
If Auburn retired Chris Davis's number, who was, from what I understand, another decent cornerback. If Auburn retired Chris Davis's number, would we say that's ridiculous, that's stupid? We say, you know what, I get it. It's one of the most iconic moments ever. And that's kind of where I'm looking at here.
Is the replayable moment not enough?
That's
Yeah.
fine. And
You know
that's,
what I mean? Like
like-
Keely Ringo, that one interception will make him forever.
Yeah, like
That's
certainly.
enough.
for years on
Congrats.
years.
Thank you.
Every
Thank you,
single
congrats.
time you go to a game in Sanford Stadium, that play will be played before. Or that
Yes.
play will be played
Yeah.
before every single football game. You will see Keely Ringo's pick six every single time.
yes. And again, I am not saying Keely Ringo's number should be retired.
I mean, the dude got wrapped on someone's car.
And Auburn's going to win the football game.
that forerunner still drives.
Yeah,
me.
I see it almost every time I go to Athens. I mean, someone literally put a television on the back of their Hummer driving on the interstate of Keely Ringo's pick six. I think the dude's legendary enough. I think he is loved enough. I think he gets his respects enough. Don't think he should have his jersey retired.
I feel like it was worth a discussion at least. I agree with you. Number 5 should not be retired because of the one play Keely Ringo had. It is, I feel like, worth the discussion.
I feel like the other 5 had more big plays in that stretch than Keely.
A.D. Mitchell?
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. That is fair.
More big plays, not as impactful of a moment.
Yeah, but you can't get your number retired if you don't finish your career with that team.
Yeah.
Facts.
You look. You
Yeah.
still get the
Texas legend. You can just stay over there.
you still
He's
get
all yours, Bandit.
You can still have the
Yeah.
DGD title, but we can't retire the number if you didn't even finish the team.
Can we retire Tyler Simmons' number because he was on sides?
No. And Tyler Simmons is another like iconic UGA football lore.
Yeah.
but not for a great reason.
How about Parker Jones is 39?
Yeah, I saw someone throw this in chat. What, like,
Man, that guy would have had a hell of a career as a walk-on and an insurance salesman, and now he's just connoted with.
oh, you're that guy.
You're Parker Jones. Why do I know that name? Oh my God, it's you.
Yeah.
That's the rest of his life, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's also such a generic of a name that when you hear it, you're like, oh, like that's you. Huh?
Yeah.
Like you're Parker Jones.
I went to high school with Parker Jones. Elementary school, excuse
It's a
me.
pretty generic.
All right. I saved this one for last. I think it might be. Like you said that this one has a case.
I didn't realize you had another one.
You said you thought this one, your Keely Ringo one, had a case. I think this one has a case because there's so much that we did not get to see of this player, and I think it might have entered into the stratosphere if it was fully played out. That would be one Jamie Newman.
Oh.
Pour one out.
The
for
vid
my,
got him, bro.
pour one out for my dog.
The
That
vid
is
got him.
absolutely-
If a global pandemic had to take down Jamie
Y'all
Newman
better
because the
thank
football
God.
gods knew what was coming.
Y'all better thank
While
the
we're at it,
Lord.
go ahead and retire one for JF. Just pull one out for my boy.
Y'all better thank the Lord.
I think
that
we should
the
pour one out for the
COVID
other
pandemic-
JF. Maybe not that JF, but because I'm JF.
You
I'm
JF?
Team JF.
Okay.
Y'all better thank the Lord that the COVID pandemic shortened Jamie Newman's career because he was about to do damage.
You know what? So I had I also
God.
Christian and I also talked about this. I think that was now at the time I'd already taken in some of your content, but that was like one of the first times that I watched a film study of yours, and I knew that there was something different about this place because when Jamie Newman transferred to Georgia, all you saw on social media was like, this is the next big thing. This guy is a great football player. He's going to change the game for them. Nothing like they've seen before. So much excitement that I remember watching your film study and you're like, all right, he's big. He's athletic. He's just okay though, guys. Like he's just all right. Here are the reasons why. And I can remember sitting there like, oh man, like I feel like someone's kind of crapping on my dreams right now. But I also enjoy this because now I have like a healthy relationship for what I should expect for Jamie Newman this season.
Jonathan, that film study was 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. It has 23,000 views. And, yeah, we don't do it like this anymore. It still says powered with Screencast-Matic on the bottom left-hand corner.
Man.
It's just me voicing over film study. Mm-hmm. You can't see my big fat head. You can't see anything. It's just me drawing over TV copy.
Yeah.
What a come up.
Yeah.
Somebody in our Discord the other day sent in a photo of me in front of that Sports Illustrated backdrop I used to have. You talking about a jump scare. Holy hell. My God, was I fat.
You definitely aged well.
Thank you.
Aged
Thank you.
well.
Appreciate that. Oof. Man, the Jamie Newman days.
Yeah, Jamie Newman was I the first one I remember watching was Alabama. I did go back and watch JT Daniels though because I remember I was also like, guys, yeah, 5 stars. There's a lot of upside here. Like, it's not that crazy impressive. And even after the Mississippi State game, which incredible moment, 400, I think 25 yards, 4 touchdowns, like all the above, very exciting stuff. Like even that was like. Those balls were kind of underthrown. Like we got some PIs and free plays that we scored on.
You remember that post game press conference?
Which one?
Yeah, I tell these guys all the time, why even recruit these wide receivers? You're not going to throw the football to them. Sir, you will not be talking to the media the rest of the time.
And
You will not be in front of a media the rest of the time you are here.
man, I remember the fan base loved that. They're like,
Oh, yeah, they ate everything up on
yeah,
that dude.
he's gonna throw to the receiver.
But
You know when I knew something was up? When I saw a photo of him wearing a turtleneck sweater in the middle of July with a pea coat on
in downtown
Athens.
yeah.
And blue jeans and shoe boots. And I was like, ooh, don't know if we're the right fit down here. Kind of like Kalen DeBoer, the head coach at Alabama.
Ooh,
now,
Just kidding. I'm a DeBoer believer, but I know we got some Bama fans.
Now, I know
here.
that-
That's a layup take. He's just not the right fit for an Alabama football coach.
it was the wrong the message was coming from the wrong person, that being JT Daniels when he said that. But I do very vividly remember Kirby Smart after the 2019 SEC championship game and talking about how things needed to change in that room.
Yes, we need to recruit better players at the wide receiver room.
And that was
I
one
believe
of the
his direct quotes were, "We run the same plays those guys do. We just don't have those guys."
Yeah. We got to get better there. And that was one of the first like Kirby Smart moments where I was like, oh, wow. Like I had not heard him speak that brash about a position of his until that moment.
Well, that was the first time I remember like watching him. Like Kirby Smart basically just admit like we were outmatched.
Mm-hmm.
Like we just did not have the talent to. Then again, it was 2019 LSU. I don't think there's a team that you could assemble again that would have the talent to stop.
The Avengers?
You would have to be. It would have to be the Avengers.
Now, I do want to settle this debate in chat right now because I believe there's someone in here saying that the Keely Ringo play in the national title game wasn't that significant because it didn't change the outcome of the game.
What?
Let me put this in perspective for you.
What?
Because he's also said he's not a Georgia fan and not a fan of anybody. Let me put this in perspective of this is a fan base. This is a fan base that went 40-plus years without a national title.
41.
And one team stood in their way majority of the time for that achievement, and that was the Alabama Crimson Tide. They had their teeth kicked in by this team multiple times leading up to this moment. In fact, they had their teeth kicked in less than a month ago in the SEC title game leading up to the national championship. So yes, Georgia had a lead going into that play, but that was the most poetic moment you could have ever asked to be crowned as a national champion over the Alabama Crimson Tide, to have a player return a pick six and have the infamous call of "Demons be gone" shortly after that.
You might have had a lead in that football game, but no Georgia fans sitting there watching that still thought you were going to win.
It was a one-score lead.
Yeah, no.
There is no other play to better cement, like, we just won a national championship. So, yeah, it didn't necessarily change the outcome of the game, but it guaranteed that the pain, the suffering, the anxiety, all of the hurt was over.
Yeah, like 40 years of pain literally lifted off Georgia fans' shoulders in that moment.
What a night.
Somebody in chat keeps asking me about a high school football team to watch. I'm the wrong guy to ask right now. Like, used to 5 years ago, come on, holler at me about high school football. Right now, Friday nights are my only time as the season kicks up to actually sit at home and be with my wife and kids. So I don't even think – I think I went to 3 high school football games last year.
Yeah.
And I'll probably go to some this year. I'll probably go to the state title game because coaches are allowed to be on the trail. But life's gotten so busy around here with wife, 2 children, and this channel that high school football is no longer holding the place that it did for me a couple years ago. I will give you the people to ask, though. I don't think anybody covers high school football better than Jeremy Johnson.
Facts.
I don't think anybody does. Close second, Ben Woke. Those guys know, like, it's not just like Chad Simmons does a great job knowing players and getting close to players and develop relationships. He's the GOAT in that area. But when it comes to actually prognosticating high school football in this area, I would go Jeremy Johnson and Ben Woke. Najee Wilkin as well is a name you need to know if you love a lot of high school football here in the state. That's Najeh. Wilkin, spelled like Wilkin, and then Bacon Network does a great job as well. So those people, those are young and up-and-comers. Those last 2, y'all need to support those guys. They work really, really hard. Go pay attention to those people for high school football in the state. But I wish it was still like that. I wish I still had time. But it got to a point last year where we were doing Friday Nights Mic'd, and we did it well into the end of September. And for 2 months straight, I worked 7 days a week and didn't see my wife and kids. And that's not the place to be. You know what I mean? I got to a point where I told Jonathan this last year. I was like, I'm getting to the point where I don't like my job, and that's a dangerous spot to be in. All right, because y'all know what I'm about. I love doing what I do, and I think you can feel that. And when that starts to dissipate, I need to pull back so I can get back into what it is that I got going on. Hey, hope you enjoyed it tonight. Hope you hit that thumbs up button. We have film studies coming up all weekend long. All right, so make sure you hit that thumbs up button on your way out. I love you. Most importantly, Jesus loves you. We'll see you.